Broadcasting live, maxed out architects of humanity from the island of misfit toys on the planet Earth, the asylum in the universe, where everybody sends their lunatics. Like, say, what's up, Calix? Good to see you, brother. It's been a while. Mr. Rex, yeah, man, lots of truth in movies, you know. Yeah, Kubrick, yeah, he definitely had a lot of truth in there. Soylent Green, as I put in the thumbnail, was the first one. And it's set, of course, in the year 2022, which passed 4 years ago. The movie was released in 1973. And it accurately predicted what people call the changing of the atmosphere, which we know is deliberate. They can say whatever they want, but all you got to do is look up and think, which has seemed to be becoming more of a deficit as the days go on, not even the years. If you try to speak with the average person, I mean, I talk to people that know about what's going on and they change. They change very frequently. They look up and then they'll say, well, that looks a little natural. Nothing is looking natural, and things are meaningless. Things are meaningless and they are meaningless. And words, of course, tell us a lot of truth. There's a message in the skies that is a message in disguise, if people can get what I'm saying. A message in the skies is a message in disguise. Like realize, real lies. So I'll put that a message in disguise is a message in the skies, so people can see that it sounds the same, but it's different. And I remember realize, real lies. I heard that over 20 years ago from David Wolfe in his book, The Raw Food Diet. Realize, real lies. The English language seems to tell us the truth in certain ways, shapes, and forms. So as we look deeper, we see that Soylent Green versus actual 2022 reality. Environmental crisis is accurate. It is accurate. They try to say that, oh, the food thing, they're a little skeptical with the industrialized cannibalism. They say it remains fictional rather than reality, but we already know. Nobody sees new graveyards being put up at the rate at which people are being ended. But when we look at the environmental stuff, it predicted it pretty well. Or is it something like a plan that they're laying out? Because they make movies to demonize people and to also push the agenda forward of basically the destruction of planet Earth. That's what it seems like. But the intense heat waves, the corporate control of food, we see that. Severe income inequality, we see that. I mean, how much more accurate does the movie have to be? And this movie was produced over 50 years ago. 54 years ago. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. Food scarcity and corporate control, mostly accurate. The film, the company, Soylent Company in the film, monopolizes food, forcing people to eat artificial wafers. If you make those wafers addictive, that makes it another level, like potato chips, right? They're very addictive. Chips are extremely addictive and also unhealthy, in my opinion. And they cost. Oh yeah, chips cost, man. If you do the math, yeah. So these artificial wafers, right? Reality has seen increased corporate control over agriculture and global food supply shortages. I mean, look at all the stuff that happened under Biden. Isn't that kind of weird? We know that Biden and Trump it's the same. It's two faces of the same demon, or the same evil, or the same puppet. I mean, it's a one-party system disguised as freedom. We do see that. So what else in the movie Soylent Green is similar to reality? Income equality is accurate. The movie shows society with a tiny wealthy elite and a massive destitute populace. This extreme wealth gap, right, is heavily reflected in the modern real world. Economic disparity. We see this. We see economic disparity everywhere. They try to say that the population and infrastructure is not as accurate. The film, it's more chaotic, overcrowded. New York City, 40 million people. I think it's around 11 million. They try to say under 9, but remember, that's just the census. So the secret, right? The inaccurate, they try to say the secret of what is in Soylent Green. In the movie, Soylent Green is people. It is made in part by people. While 2022 movie Fresh and novels like Tender is the Flesh explore this theme. But they're trying to say, oh, well, that doesn't occur in reality, because of course it would be too honest to let people know. Mr. X says, Bill Gates is the largest farm owner in the US. Any food shortage will be man-made. I think every food shortage has been man-made. I mean, when we think about that. Just grabbing some water, and yeah, so all of it is man-made in my look. I mean, look at, even if you go back to the Irish potato famine, there's a lot of documents and there's a lot of videos out there that show that they were shipping food away. The same way with the famine in India, the Victorian Holocaust. Food was shipped away. I mean, this is purposeful starving of people. It's horrible. But it's reality. And reality is sometimes hard for people to look at, especially when they grow up in Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island, as we know, it borders reality. But if you go deeper into Fantasy Island, you meet people in fairyland. Those people in fairyland are not coming out. They bought private property. They're in the suburbs of Fantasy Island. These are the people that are interviewed that can see Grapist and PDF files everywhere and not think it's a problem, especially in their so-called, I wouldn't even call it ruling class. That's the criminal class. You see how we don't look at things for really what they are. That's the criminal class. This is something, I mean, I don't know if there's a movie that might talk about a grapist as a president, but that, I mean, he paid millions of dollars. So that is the admittance of guilt is there. Okay, he didn't get prosecuted, but he had to pay his way out of grape. I mean, what type of, and that's the only one that is openly known about. Like father, like son, right? Remember, Fred Trump was in the Klan, basically, in my opinion, but anybody can look it up and see it's more of truth. And if you take Donald Trump and you rearrange the letters, I think it spells an old Trump, which would be the father, right? So I don't know if there's any movies that reflect that. Grapist in the dirty White House. Mr. X says, starving people are easier to control. Yeah, man, it's really sad, man. It's the famines, they really seem to be man-made. They really do. But the Soylent Green versus reality, that has some really, it has some really shocking comparisons there. So when we look at Logan's Run, right, the age limit, right, 30 versus 21. The movie changed the book's 21-year-old death limit to 30 to appeal to a broader adult audience. That's shocking, right? The book, man, the book was brutal, but the movie was brutal too. I mean, 30 years old, as soon as somebody hits the wall, bang, you're going for recycling, which they call renewal in the movie. So the actors' ages, despite a 30-year-old limit, led to actor Michael York, who was 33, and Richard Jordan, who was 38, but they could still pass for their 20s. This was an intentional choice to highlight Hollywood's obsession with youth rather than concealing it. And we see that they definitely got some type of obsession with youth. So does politics and religion. Those two things, I don't know what it is, man. What other profession has such a high level of PDF files than politics and religion? I mean, that's like, it's ridiculous. Sanctuary, and the ending in the book, Sanctuary is a real functional colony near Mars, from what they say in the book. The story ends with the society being revolutionized. The film portrays Sanctuary as a myth, ending with the dome's destruction. So the city is under a dome and the citizens' liberation. The film was pretty good. The film that was in the 70s, in 1976, Logan's Run, I would recommend people check that out. It's dated, but I mean, those films were actually better than anything you see today. You can actually still watch them without being like fully mentally lobotomized. The setting, so mall versus city. The film's futuristic Grand Dome City was actually filmed inside shopping malls and used miniature models. That, was very inventive. It was very, I like the way they did that. And it had that shopping mall feeling. Remember, what was Mall of America? They were trying to put a school in malls. I think they might have succeeded in that. A school, imagine that, right? Mall of America. Anybody can look it up. I mean, that's like, you talk about raising a consumer, just somebody in an outdoor matrix. Technology versus human control with Logan's Run. While the movie portrays a society entirely controlled by a computer, well, what do you know? The reality behind its creation involved dangerous, labor-intensive stunts, such as the carousel levitation scene, which used actual wires to suspend actors. And you can see this in YouTube. But that whole renewal thing, we wonder, like, are people mentally dead by the time they hit 30? Or even before, like the book was saying, 21? Some people can't even think for themselves at that point. The film echoes contemporary concerns regarding surveillance. So that is something where Logan's Run has a very close similarity to what we see today. The reliance on technology, like the Dial-A-Boink app, dating apps. So it had dating apps where the person, would materialize there. You would look through like this holographic, I guess they called it Dial-A-Boink. I didn't know that's what they call it in the, unless that's a real app, I'm not sure. And the societal pressure for youth, as discussed by the Coolidge Corner Theater. So anybody can look that up. So Logan's Run, that's another one, Logan's Run, how it was received. Of course, we know the Academy Awards and stuff are just, Best Slave Award. And those statues I've shown comes from the ancient Egyptian god called Ptah. I showed that in a lot of, I actually took the pictures of that statue in the museum. But as we go on to the next one, the movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Moreau, when I look at those ancient Egyptian, those carvings, where you see a human head with a different body, or a different head with a human body. We see a very, because we see the Sphinx, a human head on a animal body. We see the animal head on humans' bodies. But as we go deeper into researching that, more things start to pop up. Is that actually a human head on a body of an animal? I mean, possibly. The movie Dune kind of talks about that, with them turning humans into animals as punishments, the Harkonnens, right? Horrible, horrible stuff. I mean, creepy. It's really messed up. But in the 1996 film, The Island of Dr. Moreau, it's considered a chaotic, so bad it's good type of disaster plagued by severe severe production issues. And what is the similarity, right, to reality? You know, the main thing is that they Moreau, the island of Dr. Moreau is a real. I mean, that one gets you to think, because it goes into genetic experimentation, which is not going to be in the open. But when you research that, man, it gets ugly, and it ain't pretty, man, and it's real. It's real, man. So that's the relevance of Moreau, the planet of Dr. Moreau. That's what this planet should be called, basically. It's like, I mean, just the pollution alone is experimentation on everybody that most people don't care about, you know. But there were different versions of the movie: the '77 version, the '96 version. So, you know, those are in the 1900s. It's crazy because we're 26 years, we're over than a quarter of a century into this millennia. This is a quarter of a century into the century, but also into the new millennia. So this is an amazing time. Not only is it a new century, it's a new millennia. That's insane, but it's reality. Why did Logan Run choose to the age of 30 to stop the age where fertility begins to drop in women and men begin to lose muscle mass? Well, in the book, it was 21. It was even uglier in the book. It has a very deep PDF file kind of vibe to it with the 21. The 30, the wall, yeah, you wonder about that. I mean, the movie, they say they upped it to 30 for the movie for a broader appeal to people. 21 might have been a lot more shocking. I thought I heard something about it being 24, 25, because Logan, I think, was 26, and the computer wanted to use him as an agent to find sanctuary, to keep people from escaping to it. And it took the other 4 years because there was a crystal everybody's born with in their hand that is clear. And when it turns red, that's when you got to go for renewal. And if you don't go in to be levitated and lasered during a carousel ceremony that is in like a stadium, basically, with people in the bleachers cheering it on, saying renew, renew. I mean, it's amazing that this movie came out in the 70s, man. But the book serves as a cautionary tale exploring human identity and the dangers of playing God, which is what we see many people doing. But the 1896 novel by H.G. Wells, they say it's not based on real events, but rather 19th century ethical debates regarding vivisection and Darwinian evolution. Well, what do you know? Look at here, right? The film was considered a commercial failure, especially coming shortly after Star Wars. I mean, everybody wants to go into Fantasy Island with Star Wars. Star Wars is just straight, that has its own stuff too, with Yoda being based on some type of little green demon or something like that. It gets deep. I think Cliff High might have talked about that, or one of the guys that worked on it was very into exposing that. But the other film, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and these are just the films that I put on the thumbnail. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers, in comparison, right? The Cold War, they try to say, the Red Scare, but it was much more than that. The fear of the enemy within. But I think it goes deeper. Urbanization reflects modern apathy, emotional numbness, loss of empathy, and the alienation of big city life. But we know with the experiments that was conducted by Dr. Jose Delgado with the radio waves to induce apathy, to induce aggression. So, I mean, again, it's like the United States of experiments. The psychological reality is very similar to the Capgras delusion, a genuine psychiatric disorder where individuals believe their loved ones have been replaced by identical imposters. So if we look at that, right, like we start to say, well, wait a minute, why would that be a delusion? What if it's actually, what if somebody's saying that, and they, they do put this for like dementia and stuff like that. So we see like, okay, it has a medical uh, substance to it, but what if somebody doesn't have dementia and they're saying, wait a second, something is wrong? The 73, or I think it was 77 version with Donald Sutherland, I think that was probably the best version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where he went into I think it was a Chinese dry cleaning shop, and the guy was saying his wife is not his wife. And he goes, that's not my wife. And then he went back, I think like a couple of days later, and you could see he was the same. He was like, no, everything's fine. Everything's just fine. Kind of like the Terminator when the mother was taken over by the T2 and they called home. The kid wanted to call home, and he goes, hey, what's your dog's name? When Arnold was speaking with the mother, and he goes, Max. And then he goes, hey, Janine, how's Woofy? And she goes, Woofy's just fine there. Woofy's just fine. Where are you? So right there, he hung the phone up. He goes, look, your parents are gone, And it's crazy because that kid ended up, he the one that played the young John Connor in Terminator 2, I think he ended up having some drug problems and stuff. It was like, wow. And then even in the third one, I mean, the guy that played it that thing just went downhill after that. I was like, man. And if you look at it today, what are we headed to? What are we headed to? We're headed to, we're already there. You let something kick off and the drones are out. Didn't they just have some type of mass shooting in one of these states just recently? The usual suspect was out there, just going, nutcase on people. Surprised he didn't have a Darwin shirt on. But you wonder about that. The cultural satire of the 78 version specifically satirized the 1970 therapy culture and the pursuit of emotional detachment. We already saw the music, the movies, look at that was Generation X growing up in those days. So it was always the child was the problem, and the movies were right there. Kramer versus Kramer, irreconcilable differences, anything to look at the child as a burden, as a problem, as the parents got to split up who's going to take the child. It's really messed up how they have conditioned society with these machines, the television, the radio, the so-called inventions of the phonograph and other inventions, as we see, that captivated the mind. I was a video game zombie, arcade zombie. I look back at that, I say, man, But the pod transformation, that's another one too. The pod, that people were growing out of a pod from Invasion of the Body Snatchers way before the Matrix. They were coming out of the pod into reality. And get this, if you fell asleep, that's when you got replaced. So it's like if you're not thinking and you fall asleep, we already know you become zombie material. People mentally fall asleep. It's like, man, you're asleep, man. You don't see that? So we do notice that as a comparison from Invasion of the Body Snatchers movie to reality, the pod transformation. The film shows quick visual changes from plant to human. The replacement in reality is gradual, social, or ideological change, people becoming less human through apathy. We see that clearly. And could that apathy be induced by radio waves with the experiments that were done by Dr. Jose Delgado in the 50s, man? So through apathy rather than outer space creatures. We see that right here, but it could be both. Who knows? I don't think outer space, we already know, it's kind of like a distraction. Don't look in the ocean. Don't look under the earth. Look out there, like the whole war thing. Hey, don't look at the files. Look over here. Monsters, man. Monsters. the ending of the 56 version. To think that the first version came out in 1956 is crazy. Was forced to have relatively hopeful ending, right? But McCarthy, the guy who played the main character, he was screaming to people in the road, like, hey, you know, like he nobody was stopping. It kind of like today. If you try to talk to people, they're just going to drive by. They're going to walk by, probably look at you as insane. But the 78 version ends with a devastating, cynical conclusion, highlighting the success of the invasion. So did the 94 version. They were like, where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? You know, ain't nowhere to go. Like that song, right? From the 70s, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers is enduring because it frames political paranoia and social conformism as the alien threat, forcing audiences to question the dehumanizing effects of modern society. We see that. And then, of course, there are many other movies, you know. Mr. Super Sidewinder, good to see you, brother. He says, then there's the Cabbage Patch weirdness. Exactly, man. Oh, Jake, man, I didn't even see you back there, man. I was reading stuff off on the other page. What's up, man? Is that you?
Hey, MD, how's it going?
Same old stuff, man. Different day.
Dude,
You know.
man, sorry I missed the last stream because after me and Mr. X had a little debate about the Sumerian religion, the ancient Mesopotamian religion, and how it relates to Christianity. I actually did more research on it and found a lot of interesting facts, actually, like a few very interesting ones. And man, the theme yesterday would have been perfect to talk about the Garden of Eden. And that's, man, if it's okay, man, if there's a break soon, man, I'd like to.
Well, you saw the name of the last one, right? You know, garden in ancient lore means laboratory. I don't know if you know that.
No, I saw you that you kind of like titled it. Does that really mean
look that up? When people say the Garden of Eden, they don't even know that in ancient lore, that word is used as a metaphor for laboratory. So it's actually a lab of Eden.
That is very interesting. I didn't know that was
That's why I did the stream. Yeah, that's why I did the stream. I mean, I do have a similar outlook to where you're at. I mean, Mr. X is cool. You know, he's that's what he believes, and that's, you know, a belief doesn't require scientific verification. It's what he wants to believe. I think that, you know, what you're saying, you know, you don't need to, you know, push it on them, but I know what you're saying. It's like when you find the truth, it's like you want to just say, man, wait a second. When I look at it, I don't think what people call God in the religious scriptures or whatever, the documents or the tablets, is good, really. You know, it just doesn't seem like it's all good. Like it could be that there are some of the architects that are good or maybe want to benefit us or help us, but the majority might not be, man. It's the truth. The truth ain't always what we want it to be. So I understand, you know. I don't think you guys had like a falling out or anything. I think it was just you stating the thing.
No, it was just a debate.
X is very open-minded. X is very open-minded.
Yeah, I tracked it in the comments at the video too. I was hoping to draw them out so I could have a little bit more of a debate. And then I was like, man, let me do some more research because I got so anyway, yesterday I actually did some research and I fell asleep early last night, so I missed the stream. Man, it would have been perfect. But man, yeah, sorry I missed that one. It would have been good to add this stuff to that stream. But man, I got some facts I researched. So okay,
what'd you find out? What'd you find out?
In ancient Mesopotamia, it was the Sumerians, like the oldest civilization, like, you know, known or recorded that we know about. And so the Garden of Eden, like basically Christianity is newer than the ancient Mesopotamia than Sumerians. Sumerians were like the first. And so their beliefs were that basically the Garden of Eden was called Dilmun in the Sumerians, and it was a land of paradise and immortality, the same thing as the Garden of Eden. So also their you know, the Sumerians believe in Enlil and Enki, which I touched on a little bit in the last stream. Basically, Enlil was kind of like the almost kind of like Zeus. He was like there was a pantheon of gods that the Sumerians believed in, and Lil was kind of like the head ruler. Kind of like ruled with an iron fist. He was very unforgiving, very strict god. And then Enki was kind of known as man's savior and helper, and he really cared about the humans. And the humans they created from clay, just like they say, Adam and Eve were created from clay. Actually, Adam was created from clay first. And then, in Christianity, Eve was born from the rib of Adam. Well, this god, Ninhursag, she is the Mother Earth, and she was created from the rib of another god. I've
Is
worked on
there,
one.
is there a female one called Ninurta, or is that not in that story? Like you got Enki and Lil. Was there anything about Ninurta or no?
I think it was Ninti was her name. Let me check.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a female creator too, or no? Or lab assistant.
She was created from Adam's rib, and just Ninhursag was one of the gods on the pantheon that represented Mother Earth. Ninhursag was her name.
Okay.
So there is, a female gods, in Sumerian culture, which I thought you would like, because you're like the Father, Son, and the Holy Closet. Where's the women? And I was like, oh, and you don't like this one. So.
Well, it seems like the Lab of Eden. If these were part of the architects, like some were male and one, at least one was female. Like it seems like a lab with creators, architects that are fashioning humans somehow. And I think that Adam and Eve and that stuff might be the later humans that are fashioned, because if we're going with that story, Cain and Abel, when Cain goes out of the garden, he has to be marked because he's worried about other people attacking him for what he did to Abel. So it's like, one, how did they know what happened? And then two, who are these other creations that are on the surface or out?
There's a huge flaw in the story is that, he had to mark him so that other people know. What other people? I thought they were the first created.
Exactly.
They were the first created in the lab, right?
Uh-huh.
And yet, just like we know that the Homo sapiens, like there were different versions or whatever, of humans, and maybe this version, Adam and Eve were the first version, like the new generation that was created or model that was created.
I would say when we look at the albino template that everybody has, maybe whenever humans are produced and then they leave the garden, now they start adapting to the planet. So now you're seeing people that are outside of the garden might have been different shades. Like the first shade that you're going to get where you can survive without like getting serious melanoma of the skin or the eyes is blonde hair and blue eyes. That's when before that is the albino. Albinos have blue eyes, some of them, and some people that are not full albinos that have very blue eyes, it's actually medically termed albinism of the eye. So they have a higher rate of macular degeneration, of melanoma of the eye, because they lack the protection. It's kind of like how the skin can get sunburn, the eye can get problems from not having a protective coating of melanin on it. So
that's interesting. Like maybe in the Garden of Eden or Dilmun, which the Sumerians called it, maybe there's like some type of kind of like atmospheric kind of force field over this laboratory or whatever. Yeah, exactly. When they get out into the environment, then they start adapting to it.
Exactly. So now everything in that shielded environment might actually be albino. And the reason I point my theory toward that is you can find albinism in every type of life form, even bacteria. That's what shocked me. When I started to search, I said, wait a minute, anybody can look this up. You can find plants, albino, reptiles, birds, mammals, insects.
I didn't know bacteria. That's very interesting.
Even bacteria, you can find albinism in bacteria. So you start to say, well, wait a second. If things were created in a lab, and even a shielded lab or an underwater lab, like when you look at underwater creatures or cave creatures, like the cave fish, it doesn't have the eyes and it's albino because it doesn't need, it has something in the genetics that if it encounters light, it will start to produce melanin. Like when you bite an apple and you start to see it get the little brown, that's melanin forming on the apple. Scientifically, anybody can look this up. When you cut an avocado and you leave it on the counter and it starts to get that little darkness, that's melanin forming as a protection. So, it's a touchy subject because people start to say, well, wait a minute, what are you saying? I'm like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just following the science. So the first humans outside of the lab, if you look at the first little bit of melanin, Cain might have been an albino. And Cain is like, look, man, as soon as they see me, they're going to know something's up. Because even in blonde hair, blue eyed populations, you can see an albino looks different. Albino is more white here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're gonna stick out like a sore thumb if they have no melanin because they, haven't adapted yet to the environment.
You might have levels like we see right now. You might have blonde hair, blue eyed. You add a little more collagen and melanin, and you get a gray eye. And this is called the Tyndall effect. That's the same effect that gives gray clouds their color. Sometimes the cloud might get changed gray hues to it. The sky, the Rayleigh effect, we know at night the sky is clear, but in the daytime it looks blue. That's what gives blue eye their color. It's not blue pigment. It's the tiny bit of melanin that absorbs the red light and reflects back the blue. And this is why the sky looks blue in the day. It's called the Rayleigh-Tyndall effect, the blue sky and the whitish to grayish clouds. So you have blue eyes, then gray eyes. Now, this is with blonde hair. The albinos, the platinum blonde, the white blonde hair, or, hair actually is colorless, the structure. So if you look at the first touch of any type of pigment, it's going to be white and then blonde. Then there's a different type of melanin that causes the reds and the yellows. So if that's added in, you get a reddish hair and you get green eyes. Now, when you add a little more of the melanin that causes the blue and the gray effect, which is eumelanin, the one that causes the red and the green is called pheomelanin. And that melanin also causes the skin to react with the sun to cause burning. It's like a combustible effect. This is why you'll see some people that have similar complexions that they would incorrectly call white. Some people might burn less than others. And the reason being is one might contain more pheomelanin than the other. The eumelanin will protect them a little more. So if you add that in from the green eye, that's when you see people that get hazel eyes. It might be a little green, but it'll be a darker green, a little bit of, maybe greenish blue with some brown mixed in maybe. The hazel color, the eye will have different shades. And the hair will go from that orange or reddish color hair to a brownish color, but a light brown. I don't know if you've noticed that. So that's the addition of some more eumelanin. You add in a little more, now you're going to get amber eyes, olive colored skin, and you're going to get a browner hair. And as you add more, you get a darker brown hair, a darker brown eye, a darker brown skin. You add more, you get a very dark brown hair, a very dark brown eye, and the skin starts to be able to darken and lighten due to the transitional melanin. And
you know what else is interesting when you're talking about hair is that the sun naturally like highlights hair, and it's like girls like try to go to the salons and try to like get highlights or whatever. It's like the sun can naturally do something to melanin where it makes like some blonder or lighter areas, in people's hair, which is very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you look at that, the sun, maybe somehow it has a way when that hair blondes. I wonder, is it going back to the original type, or is the sun got a way of bleaching away? Because we see this with certain materials. Sun will bleach the color off of cars and stuff like that.
That's what I was thinking. Yep, it'll actually like we had these Gatorade bottles out in Afghanistan. Like all the Gatorade bottles just look like white because the sun bleached all like the color, like the purple dye or blue dye or whatever color the Gatorades were. Yeah. Like they were all just like a whitish, color because it was, so they were bleached out by the sun.
it shows us that the original form might not even be albino. It might be clear. It might be clear grown humans in tanks, just the way like underwater, deep underwater, you see the clear creatures that create
like,
their
like
own little light.
jellyfish. Like jellyfish are clear.
Yeah, like something like that. And then once, so when you look at the human, we are like, it's amazing because it takes us away from this BS pseudoscience of telling us that we came from apes or whatever. Because if you leave somebody out, the solar radiation, people with straight blonde hair have went in for chemotherapy and other radiation treatments, and their hair has turned dark brown and wavy. There's even one lady that said her hair came out almost like an afro texture, and this was due to the radiation. Now, these are people with straight blonde hair. Anybody can look up these studies. This is the
That's interesting.
beautiful.
I never heard that before. I've always heard it
Yeah.
makes your hair fall out, but I didn't know it could like change it like that.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing. It's like if people can look at it, this science is there. Same thing with the eye, a brown eye. This is what led me to find to create the theory 12 years ago, is when they have anybody with brown eyes can have the melanin taken off the eye, and they have lighter eyes underneath, gray and blue. And the company was even boasting that they can stop like a one or two steps before it hits blue and let green show, because green comes after gray and blue. And then of course, if you take more, you don't want your eye to be albino, because now you'll have very high sensitivity, you'll encounter problems. So, and they do this with the laser that Dr. Greg Homer created at a certain frequency, a certain hertz, that allows it to be taken off. They use it on skin as well, proving that melanin is on top, it's not below. So it's really fascinating. Timbo, good to see you, brother. He says, I heard a dermatologist say certain fair-skinned people get sunburned because they are wearing sunglasses when they're exposed, something about the eyes taking in sun. So he said they get sunburned because they are wearing sunglasses when they're exposed. I don't understand. Is that, so wait a minute, if the sunglasses is on the eye, the skin gets sunburned? Because melanoma of the eye and macular degeneration could be because the eye doesn't have that protection. If you could clarify that, please. AI Gollum, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Andy, I wanted to mention another similarity between the Sumerian religion and the Christianity is that, Enlil wanted to wipe out humanity with a great flood. And because he was, sick of the humans, they were becoming too noisy and too much of a nuisance. And, he was kind of disgusted with like, human behavior or whatever. So he wanted to wipe out humanity with a flood. Well, Enki would like they all took an oath to not like be too involved with humans, but Enki like really cared about humans. He was known as like the helper and the savior of humans. So what Enki would do is he would come down to earth, he would talk to a wall with a human standing nearby, so he wasn't technically talking to the human or telling the human anything. Enki would talk to a wall and told this figure named at Rahasis, which was, in the Bible, he's known as Noah, but, Enki told at Rahasis to build an ark because a great flood was coming to save, humans and animals and everything like that. And so, again, very similar. It's basically the same exact story, God told Noah to build an ark. Enki told at Rahasis to build an ark and save everything. And so, Enki was known as like almost kind of like a trickster because he would find ways around, the gods to help humans. And so, then you dive even deeper and like, oh, he's known as like a savior to humans. It's like some people believe Enki was incarnated himself into Jesus to show humans how to live like, a perfect life, basically, like not sin and try to be perfect. And it's like, man, my mind was like blown as I'm saying these things. Dillman is the Garden of Eden, the flood. And so some people say like, man, in the Bible, like the Old Testament, the New Testament, it's like, the god almost has like two personalities sometimes, and like that kind of relates back to Enlil and Enki, and these are both sons of the real God, which was An or Anu, he was like the sky god of the sky, which I think that was like the real creator, the spiritual energy or whatever, and that's why people think that God kind of had two personalities, because his two sons were Enlil and Enki, and they were the ones like directly involved, out of the Parthenon of gods, they were the ones most directly involved with humans. So, man, you got so many similarities right there, man. Like the ark and the flood, and this flood was actually described in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is way older than the Bible. So it seems like Christianity, which took things from paganism, and paganism, was taking things from Sumerian, which kind of came from Sumerian ancient cultures, where that kind of started. It seems like it was all just kind of copied. Like there are so many like direct things that were copied. It's like, man, is Christianity just like, is this like a new? Now, one thing I will say with that, Jesus, I do think he was an incarnated of a God. He performed lots of miracles. It's written, it's recorded, and things like that. But now these contradictions with God is, it kind of explains it.
You see how you looked back and you found out Anu might even just be a high level architect, so he might not be the spiritual type of creator. It's still in the physical. But if you look back the way you did and found Enki, Enlil, Ninti, or Ninurta, I think in the Egyptian, because they try to put Sumer as the oldest, but really a lot of people have this theory that Egypt might actually be older, and also India. So because they don't want Egypt and India to be looked at as the older. Now, I got to give credit.
And I tried researching which one is the oldest, and basically it's kind of hard to tell because it's so
you'll always get BS. You'll always get BS. You got to think. You got to use logic. Think your way through it and say, okay, look for contradictions, because that's how you'll figure it out. But now this is another piece of the puzzle that's going to shock you. And I think if you look into this, you might find more than I found. And I actually found out about it because Christopher left a comment in the one of the previous streams. He said, check out the Whispering Wall of Rome, because I did a stream 2 streams ago that Rome didn't build the Pantheon. The Pantheon has technology in it, just the way the Egyptian pyramids do, that went beyond what the Romans had. And they said that they couldn't build that without rebar today in the cement with the angles that it was built at, the dome. So
some of the old buildings, like I am pretty convinced, I'm not gonna say I'm 100% sure about anything, so you can't be, but I am pretty convinced that we just inhabited these structures. There is no way we built this fascinating architecture, man. I've looked into it a lot. There's no way.
What the Romans built on top of it, was bricks and stuff that wasn't as advanced as the original stuff, even though they were still advanced. But now what you said about the wall, Christopher left a comment when I did that stream saying, look up the Whispering Wall in Rome. If you look that up, there's a wall where you whisper on one side, and all the way across down the wall, the other people will hear it. So now what you just said about, I don't know if it was Enki that was whispering on the wall.
Yep.
It could be something like that. If you look up the Whispering Wall in Rome, and when I looked up, they try to credit it, to the 1800s, but they say the guy built upon older structures. So they had the ability to make these structures where you could talk to a wall and the sound could come out from the other side. So you wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't see the person that's talking. It would seem like the wall is talking, maybe. Mr. X, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, MD. Good to see you, Jake.
So if you look that up, Jake, I think that might be
that makes it even better, because it wasn't like the human was standing right next to him. He was standing far away, so Enki looks innocent. He was known as like a trickster god, and he's also the god of wisdom, because he was able to like work his way and problem solving. And so, man, that's fascinating.
Yeah, the Whispering Wall. Timbo said, not in every case, but when they went outside without sunglasses, they tanned more effectively instead of burning. Wow. So that might say that.
That's very interesting. Your eyes have to do with the way your genes are going to react, and your melanoma and everything. That's
in other words, this is deep, because he's saying if you get sunburn and you wear sunglasses, it could cause more sunburn. So if you don't wear the sunglasses, you're less likely to get the intensity of burn than if you do wear it. That's some deep stuff. And he said a dermatologist had said that. Wow. I thank you, Timbo. We absorb vitamin D through our eyes, allegedly better than through our skin. I've heard that too, and also lithium from the sun. Different ages, different names. Exactly. Jake is doing some good research here, man. People need a hero to get them through life. It's simple. Yeah, some do, man. Some do. She suggests that you can reach your personal dose of sunlight and train your skin suit to absorb sunlight. That's deep, bro. Yeah, Timbo, bro. Thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Everybody's adding in. This is how we find the truth. Scribe, what's up, man? Good to see you, man.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know if you
I want to add one more thing. So Enki also, a lot of times he was depicted because he was the god, or he was the god of water. A lot of times he was depicted with streams of water flowing out of his body. And in the story of Jesus Christ, he was stabbed with a spear, and water flowed out of his body, and then blood. And so, man, it makes me wonder, like, is that another like depiction that they were kind of copying from an older story that they added in to the Bible? And that's just a correlation that I made just from looking at it.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Mr. X, do you have anything?
No, I'm just listening on. When I hear something, I can have a thought about it. I'll chime in.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Definitely a good topic.
You might have missed it, but just a little bit earlier ago, the Sumerians, which is the oldest civilization known to mankind, supposedly recorded. We don't know. Like Indian culture, I know is super old, and so is the Egyptian culture. So it's kind of hard to say which one's the oldest because it's so old. But the Sumerians were the first ones to record their history, is what they claim. But who knows? But anyway, but Sumerian culture is definitely way older than Christianity. Like that's a proven fact. Everyone acknowledges it. Basically,
And apparently there's stuff way older than that, Jake. That's what they tell us. They claim that that's the oldest, but it's not nowhere near the oldest. Sumerian, all that stuff.
And there might be stuff even before that. I mean, who knows? But one thing I do know for sure is that in Lil and Enki, they created people from clay, and so God created life from clay.
Were you there to witness that?
No. I'm just saying what was written down in the tablets that they found in Samaria, like what they.
You said you believe that, right?
I'm saying just this is the research that I did like over the past couple of days. Me and X were kind of debating over Enlil and Enki / God, and so I did some research.
Debating God. You asked me the context of the story. I'm not saying believe in the story. I'm just saying what the context was. I'm not saying any chance that's the truth. I'm not saying that. That's not my argument. It's just the context.
I'm just saying that story was copied from the Sumerians because basically.
Fine. I have no issue with that. I have zero issue with that. I'm not here to debate that.
Did you hear a little bit earlier though when I was talking about the similarities that Christianity basically copied from the Sumerians?
Yeah, I have no issue with that. That's not an issue for me at all. It's like fine, it's perfectly fine.
And it's also Jake. It's also a copy of the Hindu, Mithra, what was it, Buddha? Who else? There's a few more major ones that are considered sun, worship, and Christianity. Ra from Egypt, Sumeria, all that.
But Buddha, I think, is like a newer thing, isn't it? Like that's way newer than like Hindu.
But they're all based off astrology, sun worship, and then you have Saturn, which is a Jewish thing, and then you have the moon tribes or whatever that worship the moon. So there's all these different religions that each one has their different, celestial.
I have to admit that the walking on water with the sun shimmering on the water, that's the best explanation I can see from walking on water. You know what I mean?
The lie of the world, right? It's the lie of the world. What they're trying to say is Jesus. No, the sun, God's son is the sun, not a physical man. It's the sun. So that's what they're basically trying to say. But they want to personify this dude walking around doing miracles and all this stuff.
People get mad at you. Yeah, if you say.
I do think that a God incarnated himself to look like humans and kind of show humans like the right way to live and performed all these miracles to prove he was like a God incarnated. I do believe that there was a God or demigod that incarnated and, he called himself Jesus. I do think that it's true because there are so many witnesses that verify this, you know what I mean? So I do think that there was.
But what about the mother? What about the mother? Like, you know what I mean? Like we got the father and the son. Where's the mother?
So I think the mother might have came from Mother Earth because the people were created from clay, which clay is of the earth. So that was like the female part of it. And then in the Sumerian, version,
remember, this is all translation, so stuff has got to be left out by accident. Like
also like the tablets
like
are
clay could stand for elements, right?
What was
That's why I hate
Like
talking about
clay,
stuff like
clay.
this. Like, oh, it said it, so it must be true. It's like what
No, I'm saying clay. When he says clay, could stand for elements, like clay, like clay of the earth, like the elements of the earth.
Right. Like so in the Sumerian version, they created humans from clay, and then also a blood from a sacrificed god, basically. And then in the Christianity version, it was clay, and then the breath of life, was breathed onto him, basically.
Well,
But
again, now the breath. Now, what is that? What is the breath? Is it putting in the spirit or something? Good to see you, Brian. He says in the first two Planet of the Apes films. I'm gonna look that up now. For the comparison,
Yeah, but Scott, I'm not trying to say like it was written down so I believe it. What I'm saying is that these stories were written down in ancient Sumerian tablets found in ancient Mesopotamia, which is way older than Christianity. Everyone confirms that and acknowledges that. And these stories that are written in the Bible and Christianity were actually copied from these Sumerian tablets because like they're exactly the same story, that humans were created from clay. Someone told the humans that a great flood was going to come, so build an ark and save all the animals. And Mother Earth was in the Sumerian tablets, and that's why I think that the female kind of version comes from. The clay is the female version, and then either the blood or the breath came from the male version of the gods, where they gave human soul. And so these stories are just like, and that was written in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is the oldest writings, in history that we found, so far at this point. So a lot of these stories in Christianity, like these big major stories in Christianity, came from Sumerian tablets, which was, before Christianity. So I'm just saying that, Christianity copied a lot of this stuff, so.
Everyone copying everybody, even Star Wars copying, Luke Skywalker, that whole thing. Raw, Jesus, the whole, it's the same story told over and over and over, different characters, different countries, different, areas of the world, and that's just how it's always been done. And then you have other different types that copy each other from, those different ones. So, but let me ask you guys one, like something that we can verify right now, so we can stay on topic too. Can an ape mate with a monkey?
What?
Do you guys think an ape can is it possible that an ape can mate with a monkey?
Oh, naturally, I don't know, but I know they've mated, like lions and tigers together before and things like that. But they have like heart problems, and they have like, it's not a good mating,
Okay, so let me ask you, Jake. So do you think that can work, or do you think they're close enough? Are they closely related enough to be able to do that? Do you think?
As I said, naturally, I'm not sure, but I know they've mated different, similar species together, and they've made it work. But I don't know if it's naturally possible.
More so than if a human were to do that, right? So, Mr. X, what do you think?
Like a human and an ape, no, but like
whatever science says, whatever the labs, if they tried it in the lab, or if they proved.
But should it? Do you think it should work since they do seem to appear similar, and not
saying
size, but
similar is not scientific. You know what I'm saying? It's not very scientific.
Okay, do they appear similar? Do they sound similar? Do they eat similar stuff?
Yeah, like to me, I would say yes. Because, if a lion and a tiger can be mated together, they're both like in the feline, species, and so I would assume that monkeys and apes are, similar species. Like, so I would assume they could be, mated together.
Okay. So I want to ask MD if what he thinks about that. If he thinks an ape should be able to.
I was looking it up. It says here.
Oh no, you can't.
Oh, don't look it up. All right.
I just wanted to do it off the top of your head.
I just want to let Brian know if you can post some stuff, because the Planet of the Apes films, I'm finding stuff, but it's kind of whack. So if you got anything to post that can lead me to something about that, yeah.
Hope you didn't read it.
Planet of the Apes, the first one.
Yeah, the first one was deep. But so what are you saying? That I think an ape and a chimp can mate?
Is it logical that those two species of chimp or whatever you want to call them?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Should they be able to produce?
Yeah, I don't even think. No, I don't. Not even a chimp and a bonobo, or an ape and a bonobo, or an ape and a baboon, or a gorilla.
Okay, so you're saying no, Mr. X is saying it's possible. Jake might say it's possibly possible since it comes from a similar thing. Okay, so let me ask. Okay, now I'm going to change the question. What about a Chihuahua? Right, Chihuahua, little tiny dog. Can that mate with a German Shepherd?
All right, let me see.
They've made
don't look at, bro. This is an experiment, so you don't look at. I want you to use your intuition.
They'll have a hard time having the baby. Maybe it'd be too big for the Chihuahua.
Yeah, they've done it. They have mated tiny breeds and big breeds together. I know that.
Well, they're saying that.
You see, again, you're using that precedent. I say, what is it logical for that to work?
Well, I think it can only work through artificial insemination with the Chihuahua and the Shepherd.
No, so the real answer is physically it's going to be tough, but yes, you can. Whereas the ape cannot mate with the monkey, even though it looks.
Yeah, not even in a lab. They got failed Soviet experiments.
Okay, so and a human as well cannot do the same thing. So that should tell you that if a Chihuahua can mate with something that different, and we can't mate with that, even though maybe there's similarities, and a monkey can't do it either. That means we're very far apart, even though we may have appearances.
Extremely. Yeah.
Just that fact alone, but it's like a Chihuahua can mate with a freaking Great Dane or something that looks completely different. It's possible because it's part of that same family. So that makes us possibly, completely separate planet and even monkeys.
Right. So we're obviously different from apes because we can't mate with them. So these evolution theories like a good way to
every primate would differ. Every primate is not only, we're not different from every primate, but every primate is different from each other. The ape and the gorilla can't mate. The chimp and the ape can't mate. The chimp and the gorilla cannot mate. When they try to say, because evolution, we already know, is the theory that created racism, that the pseudoscience. And when you look at my theory of adaptation, when they say that, oh, well, Black people have more agility and this and that, when you look at the people that have the higher bone density for less fractures, that is much more seen in not all of Black population, but there's about, I think it's like 6% of people that have stronger bones. Now, if you're on the surface longer, you're getting stronger skin to protect you from the sun. It's not saying it's better. It's saying it's more adapted to the planet. You're getting hair that turns, anybody with hair that's more Afro-like, that hair will cool better in hot climates like the sun.
That's what I'm going to mention. Because I wouldn't necessarily say Black skin is better. I would say it's better adapted to hotter climates. Exactly. But you want lighter skin and cold, snowy climates.
Well, lighter skin, the benefit of lighter skin is you can produce your own vitamin D. So the darker the skin, you need to be in the sun to get the vitamin D. The benefit of lighter skin is the drawback, you can get sunburned. The benefit is that you can generate vitamin D. And what Timbo brought in, that piece of the puzzle where he says that if you try to shield your eyes from the sun, your body is like one unit organism. You can't shield your eyes because now something happens and your skin will burn easier. So if you don't wear the sunglasses, you'll actually have more protection on the skin. And that's science right there, to say, okay, you can't just expect to protect your eyes. And the backfall is that your skin will burn more. So like, what is it telling the brain? Is it telling the brain like something to where, don't protect the skin because the eyes are protected by this shield that you're putting over it? And if you take the shield away from the eyes, the skin now will not get burned as severely. If I'm reading what he said correctly.
Another thing to add on to that is like when it's hot, your body sweats. So that way the breeze cools down your body. Like your body adapts to the environment like in real time. You know what I mean? So that's very interesting with the sunglasses and the tanning.
Yeah. So see, this is the thing. We're starting to see that because they want to separate us. And what Scribe is bringing in is that when you see that we can all breed together, and then actually when people breed together, sometimes you get a stronger genome. Like when you look at the Jeremy Meeks thing, he just happened to get genes that made women more attracted to him than they are to white or Black guys.
It would be an interesting study because I'm sure they have to have these numbers like somewhere in some database, like, there's like all this Down syndrome and everything, which would be kind of messed up because it would have to do with if you vaccinate your kids or not, because there's mercury and all these.
Well, we can't say that. We can't say that because we're not sure. That's in your opinion. You can't. Yeah, we got to stay within YouTube guidelines. We got to stay.
There's certain jabs with mercury in them that
this guy.
Supposedly, but I would
this guy is hilarious. He said Tupac said the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Oh, don't go there. Please don't.
Had to bring it up, right?
Thank you. Have mercy.
Science, definitely. Science, I mean, if we look at that, not everything can be explained, but yeah, it definitely.
Bendy, what I think would be a very interesting numbers to know is that are there less genetic deficiencies as far as like, diseases, Down syndrome, things like that, in mixed couples, their children, or compared to like, people who have the same couples, whatever children, like same races or whatever, that would be very interesting to know if, mixed breeding causes stronger immunity or less chances of having diseases like that.
They say that there's an overlap. So when you have mixed kids, the different, and not just mixed kids, because now this is where the genetics gets weird, or not weird, but gets complicated with science to say, okay, you can have people who are, say, black and white, the most different extremes, not brown and white, not Chinese and white, but we'll go to the extremes, black and white. And if those two people have similar immune systems, then the child will have less immunity to diseases. So now, if you have different immune systems and they can still be both black and white, now the child's going to have a much broader range of immunity. This happens within what they would call races and also in mixed people.
You know what's interesting about that makes a lot of sense, and I'm wondering how long does it take your body to adapt to certain conditions or environments to build up an immunity to that? Like, let's just say there's black people who've been in America for a couple hundred years. Has their immunity adapted to the same American environment and the same region in America, let's say, as a white person there, compared to if it was a black person from Africa and their immune system is like completely different? Like, how many years? Like, is it hundreds of years? Is it like 50 years? Is it a couple generations?
That's the thing. I think that is not a set rate, because it could also be doing with environment. So depending on the environment, maybe it's quicker in certain environments, maybe it's slower in certain environments. So that would be the scientific method to say, okay, with that. But what it's saying here with less, would it have less Down syndrome in mixed children than what would be called purebred children? It says no, there's no evidence suggesting that, which could also show what I'm saying, that if people, because we know that there's people that are black and white that can have the same blood type. So you can actually have blood transfusions, but then you can see two white people with different blood types that cannot have blood transfusions, and two black people that have different blood types that you can't have blood transfusions. So that's where there's something that's underneath the skin that connects us more than the skin on the outside.
That is very interesting. The fact that there are different blood types, like where did these blood types originate from? Was that the actual, like, the gods who created themselves, and that's very interesting, that the fact that people have different blood types, like where did blood types originate from?
Like, do they have specific strengths and weaknesses? Do people like O blood, they say O is like a universal donor. So a person with O blood, I think a person with A and B can take blood from them, but I think an O blood can only take from another O. So it gets it's like a mathematical problem when you look at blood donorship. It's amazing. And then they have, yeah.
But you know what's crazy? You're talking about blood right now. So dogs, they're saying, so do they have it? Yes, they absolutely do. But it's a bit more complex than the humans, A, B, O, and the A and the B. So they have even more of a variety in dogs. I'm just thinking to myself, if there was like a real race, like racism and stuff can't really exist because we're not a separate race. You could say a Chihuahua is a separate race than a Great Dane or a German Shepherd, because they look breed if it's artificial. But they can still breed. So literally they're the same race.
Yeah.
But appearances would make it even more what we call racism here. I'm saying to call it to ourselves is really stupid because we're the same race regardless. So you can't really be a racist. You can be a race. You can be a hater against skin color or something like that, but not a racist because we're not.
Or size, like the Great Dane versus the Chihuahua. The size.
But they're still. But you see that one, it's more apparent. But I'm saying it's still the same race because they can mate.
Yeah, it's the same race of dog. But it says here also that Down syndrome occurs in all races, ethnic groups, right? But it has more of an associated with having children is the maternal age. So as the man and the woman age, it's saying that that can increase, and also with more children in the family. So if you got like 10 children in a family, you're more likely to have one of them with that. Or if one of the parents have a higher age, or the mother has a higher age, this is what they're saying with.
What's interesting about that? I see a lot of research on that topic because there's been studies show like when the mother's eggs are older, like those are like where you get higher
eggs. They're not the best eggs.
Yeah, those are the worst eggs. They're left over. They're older. They're not as fresh. So like the diseases, skyrocket. That's like
well, it also says because that's what this study is saying, that when the maternal age is older, now the primary factor associated with having a child with Down syndrome, it can rise. But it also says here that mixed individuals have an increased genetic diversity, which can help reduce the risk of inheriting recessive diseases. So now that can actually make the genome stronger, where a child must inherit 2 recessive genes. This does not apply to chromosomal conditions like Down syndrome, but it does apply to immunity to certain things. Like you might have somebody that some people will drink and smoke and die at 40 or 50. You got other people that'll drink and smoke and live to 95. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you say, well, what? Like, look at George Burns. He was like 102 or something like that, right? So,
too, like some people are allergic to like peanuts or like all these allergies, whatever. Probably
I think that comes from the overlapping immune system. That's what the science is trying to say. That if you mate with somebody with the same immune system, now the child will have all these. It could be much more susceptible to peanut. Now, also the peanut allergies they're trying to say is the pesticides that's sprayed on that. So it could be that added in with other things too. But I think birth control makes women, if they don't have birth control, they're going to be sent, their scent's going to attract them to men that have different immune systems. So the child will have a wider overlap to be more.
That's a good point, because all these kids nowadays like have so many allergies and these problems and all these
and birth control when they have birth control,
it's a great.
It changes the thing to where they mate with guys with similar immune systems, and then once they get off the birth control, they change, and this could explain why people will have a kid, and then next thing you know, they're getting divorced a year later because now she's off the birth control. She's not attracted to him scent-wise anymore.
But the kid's already messed up, though, because the pheromones that she can naturally sense, birth control changes her sense and pheromones to attract the right partner, which has to do with the
Well, that's the thing. She attracted the wrong partner when she was on the birth control. Then she gets off the birth control to have a kid with the wrong guy because she's already with him, right? Now, when she's off the birth control, she has the kid. Within a year or two, she starts to become unattracted to him because her natural senses start to kick in. And now she wants the guy with a different immune system, but she is already procreated with the wrong guy.
And sometimes, way more often than people would like to admit, is that's not the guy's child, the one that she's married to. She probably actually had the child with the one that she is, naturally attracted to, like sensing the right pheromones, because that is probably has to contribute to paternity fraud.
Mm-hmm. It's part. There's a channel actually, Women Against Paternity Fraud. I think it's on YouTube. They call it hybrid bigger. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because you'll see some people that are mixed that just happen to have, like you'd be like, man, the genetics in the person is And there's chemicals and everything, man. We that's something we got to take into account, man. We're being slowly, the washing powder deodorants, man. It's crazy, man. You know that air spray Febreze, they're saying that what it does is it alters something in your nasal senses so you don't smell the problem. I mean, it's scary. Let me see if I can find it. Danger of Febreze.
Yeah, also that story about the Garden of Eden, like Ninti was born of a rib of another person in there. So man, like born of a rib, like same story as Adam and Eve. Eve was created from the rib.
Now, remember, if you're going to clone or use genetics, the rib has a high, I think they also say it could be stand for the ribosome. So if you're looking to pull out a rich genetic part of the body, you would pull it from the rib in some cases.
Yeah,
So
because the bone marrow is very rich because it's actually all of your organs there.
Yeah, so the rib, let me see, does the rib have higher genetic material? Let's say material. This is what the AI is good for. So it's saying it does not contain the higher material compared to other body parts, but it is considered an ideal skeletal source for high yield DNA extraction and forensics. So, and this is what I don't like about it. It goes back and forth, but so it's saying here it has a higher genetic material. So high quality DNA source, rib bone, specifically the proximal or vertebral ends, are highly recommended for DNA profiling because of their high yield. So in other words, the rib actually is a pretty good candidate to pull the DNA from if you were going to use it to create another being or add to that. Because if you look at the genitals and the stuff of a man compared to a woman, you can see like they're like the testicles in a man is like internal. In a woman, that could be the ovaries. The clitoris would turn, that would be representative of the penis, but then the urethra, it separates. So you look at the parts of a woman and a man, you start to say, oh, the only thing that's really different in there is the vaginal canal, because we all have 9 orifices and women have a 10th orifice. So we have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears. That's 6. A mouth is 7. The anus is 8. The penis is 9. No, yeah, the penis is 9, right? Yeah. Or did I count that right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the vagina would be 10. So the woman has the portal. And this is like something, if people study it in that way, we can learn from this. But like what I was saying about the Febreze, like so Timbo saying, yeah, those air fresheners, yeah, it's poisonous, man. This guy had one in the car the other day when we were working, and I had to like pull it out. I was like, bro, you got it in the air conditioned thing, and it's just it's poisoning. But it says Febreze can cause health effects. It's saying asthma and chemical sensitivities, headaches, irritation, breathing issues, potential hormone disruption. So this also, this is like really messed up, man. They have butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT, which is crazy toxic, linked to organ toxicity, and acetaldehyde, a potential carcinogen, pets, children, all of this. I mean, when people spray this stuff, it's not good, man. Yeah, this is not good, bro.
Hey, I wrote down like a little notepad in my phone of like all these facts that basically Christianity copied from Sumerian religion. I'm going to post it in a comment on this video, and I actually should comment it on the other video, on the Garden of Eden video. And I'm going to post it in that video, and then just look at these facts, and it's going to make you start questioning things a little bit. Now, I'm still a believer in the fact that, you can call him Jesus or call him whoever you want, but the fact that I do think that a God incarnated himself into a human form to show humans that, what a God is capable of, and all the miracles he performed and things like that.
What is a God? Like, if you were have to describe what a God is, what would you describe it as?
someone who can create miracles. And there's lots of witnesses and things that he
Okay,
did.
now somebody says, what's a miracle? Like, what type of miracles?
Now this is interesting because he supposedly cured blindness, deafness, healed bones instantly. Now, was that just a technology that they had? Was that just a miracle because they had certain technology that they possessed and was showing us that? Or was,
It's a
what is a
possibility,
miracle?
right? If we use science, right, and somebody were to come with that type of scientific stuff, minimized to where now it doesn't require a big machine, you can hold it in the palm of your hand, right? And then you can make it even into nanotechnology. So now a person, it looks like your hand, right? And they come and they do that to a tribe. And then over, say thousands of years, people still keep this myth. Could that explain the Jesus character? Could that explain somebody acting like a god? Like what we know today, right? Just the technology of stuff. Somebody that is less, not even primitive like a tribe, just somebody that's sheltered, that is like kept as a slave, not able to see the light or whatever, and you bring something that looks highly advanced, they might, who knows how they're going to react to that.
They might call them a light bringer.
Yeah, exactly. So when we really look at this and you look at how humans were created, and we see that something is always trying to turn us against each other. They don't want people to be different looking people working together. It always has to be an ancient black or ancient white or ancient Chinese or Indian. It can never be like when you look at Egypt, you see different type of phenotypes. You'll see some statues with broader noses. You see some with thinner noses. And then you see a lot with broken noses. But the thing is, you do find some that are still intact. And you say, wow, these people look different. I even have pictures of statues from the museum where people have very like Asian type, Oriental type eyes. So I'm saying, wow, Egypt was extremely diverse. And that's the one thing that they really try to keep people from doing. They say, look, if we work together and we say, okay, you can't really breed anybody out, because if you have, say, a white person that has a kid with a black person, and then that kid continues to have children with a white person, it'll breed out most of the black traits, whatever black traits are. And then if they do the opposite and breed with a person, they'll breed out the white traits over the years. So there's really no stable gene, but possibly the gene from one of their grandfathers could pop up. And this is when we see, something like the albino gene. That albino gene is proving to us that you will always have that in every type of human. As albinos keep popping up.
Another interesting fact, is that they say, as far as like having a full head of hair, that it's actually like your mother's father who, like, that's the gene that causes like hair. So it like skips a generation on the maternal side. And this is supposedly, but this is like,
well, no, it's not even skip it. You know what it is when the female is created in her mother's belly, the mother's eggs are in that baby girl. So that baby girl she's carrying her mother's eggs. So her children are going to be much more related to the grandmother than the mother. And this is why it seems like it skips a gene. When they say you're more likely to inherit stuff like diseases and strengths from your grandparents than your parents. But it really comes because that when somebody, and it's common, it's like logic and reason. You look at it and you say, yeah, that makes sense. Because if she's gestating a baby girl, all of her eggs are born with her. So women are born with the amount of eggs that they're going to have for their life. Men are born, but we create sperm on tap. So as we hit puberty, now every time we're going to create sperm, it gets created on tap right there. And this is why we can have kids going into our latter years. But again, if we have kids as we're older, we're still susceptible to those kids being genetically defective because of age, unless the man is in extremely good health. And this matters. They even linked it to guys who are overweight and stuff like that. It affects the sperm.
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah, like overweight and if you're drinking and smoking and living unhealthy, like that affects man's sperm. And another thing that's very interesting is that most of the diseases are related to a women's eggs, being older. Once she hits 30, like the chances start going up, and after 35, they skyrocket.
You're not getting the best of the lot. You're not getting the best of the.
It's like the sperm quality degrades, but it's way less of a degradation compared to older eggs. Because like there are old men that breed with younger women. Old rich guys will breed with younger women, and the kid will turn out perfectly fine most of the time. But when older women have kids, like it's a way higher probability. So
it's a risk. But also there are studies showing that the male, because they try to blame miscarriages on the women, they're trying to say now science is showing that the male has a lot to do with that too. Sometimes, like over 50% of the time, it's because the man has defective sperm, and they're quicker to say, well, it's the woman. But when you look at the man, something in his lifestyle, whether he did drugs or stuff like that, it can damage the sperm. If he holds his cell phone in his pocket all the time, that's clearly can be damaging to that. Christopher, good to see you, brother. What I was saying, giving him credit earlier to the Whispering Wall, if you look that up, Jake, that's really deep. But he's got a good point here. What if that Jesus fellow was a physician? That's an interesting thought. That's an extremely interesting thought, right? It's like an illusionary. Yeah, that's the.
And when you say like in your hand, let's just say there was some super small thing on your hand, like you don't even know what's there. It's like a speck of dust or something like that. Jesus, like, supposedly would touch people and then they would be healed. I wonder if there's a little nanotechnology speck of dust.
So that he was a physician with nanotech, like
right,
how Christ
right.
Because that's
hold on. I want to get into the gullibility of that, what Jake's talking about. To me, it's no different than the Santa Claus thing. That's what makes the Christianity thing such a popular choice for religions, because they have this guy called Jesus, who they considered God or whatever. So he was able to be God, I guess, walking upon this earth. But doesn't that make for a much better story? To where if you create ants, are you going to go down as an ant and hang out with them and say, "Look, I'm this. You got to be this way. You should do it this way. Build your mountains this way," or would you just make up a story and say, "Okay, this ant right here is me. I'm going down as him, and he's going to speak for me to the public, to the ants, to let them know I'm the real God." You see what I'm saying? This is literally akin to a Santa Claus story for adults.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Like, so, what my, thoughts are on this, whatever, is that supposedly Enlil and Enki are the ones that to me seem like most realistic as far as like the god being almost like bipolar and having two different personalities. Because Enlil and Enki were two different, figures that, one was kind of like the helper and savior of humanity. The other was more like a strict ruler and not unforgiving to humans and wanted to wipe them out with a flood. Enki, told warn them about the flood to build an ark or whatever, and then Christianity copied the story. But both of those, Enlil and Enki, are sons of the Sky Father, which was called An or Anu, and so that was more like the spiritual, like, creator. And then so anyway, so like Enki supposedly has been related to incarnating himself as Jesus, is what Christianity describes it as. But I do think that there was a god or demigod or whatever that incarnated himself to show humans what was possible. And the fact that, I said, he performed miracles that lots of people witnessed. And so there's written, like, lots of documented witness accounts of this happening. So to me, like, it seems pretty realistic.
So why is this guy and the other guy not doing anything about all the madness that we see in today's world? Where are these gods, hanging out right now?
Well, okay. Now this is interesting because I did research this. There is a mount. I forgot the name of it, but it's nicknamed the Mountain of Oath. Basically, all the gods took an oath to not get too involved in the humans' lives, and so Enki was kind of like a trickster because he wanted to, like, help them, and so he would supposedly, like, talk to a wall with a human nearby and tell them, like, give them tools or tell them about technology, building techniques, warn them about the flood. And then MD brought up, there was this wall that like you could talk into it at one point, and it was like a curved wall that would carry the message like hundreds of feet down to where a human might be standing and receive this information. It was nicknamed the Whispering Wall. So supposedly one god, Enki, wanted to help the humans and give them information, tools, and the fire and things like this, right? And then another god was just like annoyed with them and unforgiving, and he was kind of like disgusted with his creation, so we want to wipe him out the flood. But Enki warned him about it. So like,
so Jake, which god gave us the CPU chip?
So supposedly, like, I picked up on this a little bit more after doing more research on this. There was a pantheon of gods, and like Nin Herzog was like Mother Earth, and she was like the god of, like the Mother Earth and nature and things like that, or whatever. And there's a pantheon of, many gods that kind of control different aspects of Earth, and we are almost like their experiment.
So it's possible, Jake, that we ourselves culminated this thing called God in order to organize the masses, which is the perfect tool to re-legion the masses. Isn't that exactly what they're doing?
Believe that religion.
So they just make up some of these stories, or they copy the stories, like you said, they'll copy them, and then that guy copied it. Who knows how far it goes back? But they're all copying each other. So it's like, what are we really doing here exactly?
Scribe, you have to believe in a mind before the human mind. You have to.
I'm saying we created this thing called God, not the other way around. We created the concept of God.
The mind has to always been existence. We're beings with minds.
Then that means we're the gods that they're talking about in a cumulative capacity. Because, Mr. X, I'm saying we created that. Who wrote the Bible? The God, or did the scribes write the Bible?
Well, are you saying there's no mind before the human mind? Are you saying that, Scribe?
Never said that. Didn't know who that was. I'm saying it looks like they're describing us because they keep personifying this thing called God. And we're the only things. We're the only ones creating stuff. Yeah, because that's the only proof there is. When you want to talk science, do you see Jesus coming down right now? Do you see Krishna coming down?
That's a whole separate issue. You're talking about a religious issue. I'm talking about mind before the human mind. That's all I'm talking about.
Okay, that's a different argument. I'm saying that who knows how that came, and for us to even understand that, it can't be explained scientifically. That means you understand the ether. That means you understand all these hidden things that they don't want us to know about to get that full answer. So if you only look at it scientifically, oh no, that's just a bunch of chemicals, and you die and whatever, and there's no spirit, there's no consciousness. They want to claim it's all the chemicals, right? So we know that. But to answer that question, you can't answer it with the human with English, especially in words. I think it's a symbolic understanding. It's like when Morpheus, or what was it? Neo asked Morpheus, what is the Matrix? Well, I can't tell you what it is. You have to experience it. It's that type of thing. So, and all I've seen is humans creating these things.
We can argue back and forth about who's right and who's wrong, but at the end, there's only one truth. And that's
I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong. I'm saying what have we seen? We've seen humans portray this thing called God or whatever it is in their version of the world or wherever they come from, whether it's Vikings, whoever, with Asgard and all that. So it's all they all seem to be talking about the same stuff, but who's really creating all these ideas? It's us. But they want to say, no, some dude came down, did all these miracles. Okay, cool, he did some miracles, but what did he create? Did he do anything? Not really. He just resurrected, whatever. Well, again, more hearsay, more copies of other religions that we've heard this thing happen before, where the guy goes away for 3 days, and again we find out it's the sun that goes dead for 3 days in December. We call Christmas or whatever. It rises again. Again, they're following this ancient astrological story, and that story came from humans. It did not come from any god, and not come from any prophet. It all came from humans. So these people, they love this. Oh, if this book was written by God himself. Again, himself, personification,
to exist before the humans. Something had to exist before the humans. A thinking being had to exist before we came.
We ourselves recreated ourselves, is what I'm saying. Whatever that was long ago.
That's a religion. Right. That's a religion. There's nothing scientific about that. That's your personal
we're here, religion. And those gods are not. That's the point. We are living proof right now. We're living.
They're metaphysical. They're not physical.
Well, apparently we are too.
It's like we'll become non-physical eventually. We'll lose this body. We won't be physical at all.
That sounds like a god to me, doesn't it? That sounds like a god to me. So.
Well, I would interpret that as a spirit, not a god necessarily.
Well, when you refer to the Holy Spirit, the God, was it Father, Son, the Holy Spirit? So they refer, all these things again are referred to be personified as a man, so that you can relate to it easier and it seems more real to you. Again, it's if I take a toy
So
and give
we're
it to you as
arguing
a
religion
child.
again. I'm not here to defend religion. I'm here to defend a mind before the human mind. I'm not here to defend any religion. That's not my argument. You always lock me into this
But
corner.
you are saying there's a God. You are saying there's a God.
I'm saying there's a mind before the human mind. That's what I'm saying.
Why can't it just be
Something
the same
created
mind?
all this that was immaterial. That's what I'm saying. There's an immaterial realm in another dimension. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't nothing that created everything. It was something with a thinking mind that created everything. That's my whole argument.
Okay, so let's use this world as evidence. So let's say you know that one video game, Grand Theft Auto, right? Very big, very huge.
Yeah, I mean,
Took thousands of developers to build this thing, especially the new one. They spent almost $3 billion, the GTA 6, whatever. I don't know how many developers they got on there, but so if one of those characters in that game, 'cause apparently they're going to be using AI, they have 93 patents of new AI they're going to use in that video game specifically for that game. Apparently, you won't be able to tell the difference between a real person and a NPC or whatever. But okay, so if an NPC were to ask you and you're playing the game, and let's say you're one of the developers who built this game, one of the many thousands of developers that you did particle effects, that particular field, that nothing else, that's your main expertise. That means the little when you shoot a gun, you see the sparks and all that stuff. So just that piece, you're doing that part. And they ask you, so how was I created? How did you create me? Can you tell me you were on the team that helped build him, but he's asking you, so how was I built? Was it a god or something? How would you explain to that NPC? Because you did build them, you did create them, you did give them consciousness, sure. you did breathe life into them. So how would you explain to him? You can't say, well, there was a singularity, because that's not true. You really know it takes this many people to build.
Well, do you want me to be honest? Or you want me to lie to him? If I was to be honest with you, I'd say we created you out of a computer program. You're nothing more than zeros and ones in a computer.
Okay,
program.
So if we are nothing more than that, which is zeros and ones,
I didn't say that. No. I said the guy in the video game, not us. I said the guy in the video game.
But who's to say we're not, Mr. X? I'm saying
no. We have a metaphysical property to us that is you could look at as supernatural, can't be explained scientifically. It's beyond the physical, beyond the electrical signals.
Then why are we compatible with zeros and ones? Meaning, if I do something on my computer, I can affect something in real life. Whether I hack into something or whatever, or do something, or make a purchase. I'm affecting real life, right? So they're saying this.
Realm. Yes.
Yeah, the physical. So they're saying that this matrix thing we're in could be in a similar binary code that we can also tap into, and that we could possibly be part of that.
Give me one second.
Yes, Scott, I kind of understand what you're saying. Is it's kind of like the Matrix, thing that you're referencing. As I dug more into this, like research, as I was going deeper into, Sumerian religious stuff like that, is that basically one of these, like who is our creator? Or like, were we created by someone? I think we were created by someone who's not God. Like, I think there's us. There's way more, advanced civilizations, and then someone created them also. But what's interesting is that supposedly we were created and put on this planet to, be laborers basically, and kind of an experiment, because there was some type of cataclysmic event where it wiped out like a bunch of planets or something. It was almost like a nuclear war kind of, but like way more powerful than that. And basically like what a theory is that aliens are trying, like the reason why UFO abductions happen, because they are experimenting on like human bodies and trying to figure out how to create basically clones of humans with alien like DNA in them. So they're basically trying to like crossbreed humans, basically make these like, they're called hybrid type of like hybrids, basically aliens and humans, and they call them like hybrids, supposedly in the space. Basically like there's aliens among us that look just like humans, and they're trying to slowly take over our planet. So our planet now is like, we have all these resources. We've been mining gold and silver and all these resources out of the earth. Like we have all these stockpiles of resources now, and so aliens are slowly trying to like assimilate into our population and do basically like kind of like a soft takeover without like a huge invasion. So you want us to keep working on the resources.
Jake, that goes on the supposition that humans are in control. So it doesn't make sense to think that
I think the aliens are already in control of a major industry.
No. It doesn't make sense to think that humans were ever in control. You see, that's the human ego that they use.
created to be laborers, basically. Like that's what we were created for.
Well, maybe not just laborers. Maybe we were created as conduits to try to. It seems like something is trying to open portals or bridge a gap from the non-physical to the physical, or maybe from one dimension to the other. This could be what,
yeah, definitely.
it could be what CERN is. You know, nobody really knows what CERN, Wyoming, Cheyenne Mountain, all these things that they hide from us. It's like we see it with politics. It's like basically it's like something that's feeding on our children. Maybe it's using. Yeah.
Do you remember that case happened in Miami in the Bayside Mall or something? There was like apparently a portal opened up in the middle of the mall, and these creatures came out. Everyone freaked out. They called the entire city of Miami, all the police department to come over there, and a lot.
Yeah,
of
they said it
people
was a fight, teenagers fighting. That's what.
Yeah,
they
were
said.
trying to say that there were teenagers fighting. They were popping firecrackers and all that because it sounded like there was a really loud bang or whatever. And then people started freaking out. And then they asked the people,
it's gone. You can't find it anymore.
Yeah, Jake, you got some crazy feedback on your mic. But so
it's getting the gurgly thing again.
But then when you look at the Skinwalker Ranch thing, you see that that's one of these hot spots where all these things seem to, like the veil is very thin in that area, and they've reported all kinds of crazy stuff there, portals opening up, all kinds of weird creatures, spiritual stuff. Just weird, like all the stuff you could think of, all wrapped up in that one place, from Bigfoot to every other thing you can think about, UFOs, all that. So it's like it seems like there's definitely hot spots that attract that thing, or they're able to teleport through, I guess, a Stargate type of situation, but they're not like static Stargates. Like they're able to open up certain coordinates, I guess. What's funny is they said that if you reverse the coordinates in the mall, and where that happened in Miami, if you reverse those coordinates on Google Maps, it ends up in Antarctica. So they're saying that the aliens either they messed up and thought they're going to Antarctica, or a base in Antarctica supposedly, or somewhere else. But it's kind of funny that happened, that they accidentally ported into the wrong area, and people saw them for a little bit. And they said it looked like they were glitching in and out of reality when they were seeing it, and then the cops showed up and all that stuff happened.
But what if aliens are just spirits, just demonic spirits? They're not real extraterrestrials.
I mean,
well, what's interesting is they have the bipedal form. Why are they bipedal?
Are they taking on the bipedal form, or are they truly bipedal? So that's another.
But then you have other ones that say there's mantis, there's an insect form, there's a wolf form that you see in the Egyptian.
Yeah, and you know those things with the Egyptian, the Anubis, because they use that as the god of the underworld, and we see it in all cultures, Hades, and all these other.
You see how they give themselves those titles. They literally give themselves those titles.
Well, in Greeks, they say that, okay, Zeus rules the sky, Poseidon rules the ocean, Hades rules the underworld. The only difference is Hades has something where if you come to his realm, you can't go back. And everybody that has been documented that might have went there and came back never comes back the same. So even though his realm is not, like the other two for the living, he has a power that he might not be as powerful, but he's final. It's like the thing where they say death and life. People say, well, to death, they say, why does everybody love life? He's like, life is a comforting lie. Death is truth. God will disappoint you before death will. Death ain't going to lie to you. That's the beautiful thing about death, but it's also the scary thing about it. And when I look at these characters in these, what would be costumes, like the amphibian-headed goddess and stuff, these might be biosuits, and they might not just be biosuits that hold a physical being that can't be in this atmospheric pressure that we're in. They might even be non-corporeal. So imagine a spiritual being that needs a biosuit to inhabit this realm and make humans to mine the earth and create things like CERN so they can try to enter at the thinnest part of the veil. Like Halloween, they say that's when the veil between the worlds are the thinnest. A hollow's equal.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it really gets deep. It's like what AI was saying about the Loosh theory. The Loosh theory is energy harvesting by higher dimensional beings or other dimensional, portraying Earth as a farm designed to produce this energy. And when you think about it, the energy of our like fear and our bad emotions, the greed and the lust.
I was about to get to. Remember that movie, Monster X, where they would come out of the kid's closet and the kid would freak out, and they want them to freak out more. The harder they freak out, the more Loosh they can gather.
Monsters Inc.
And
right?
that movie just was messed up, because that's literally what's happening. You know, I don't want, again, in my opinion, I don't want to.
They harvest the screams. They harvest the fear of the children, and they would make closet doors, right? And now, when you look at the whole, not everything of the Jesus story, but when you look at the story of, if we were to help each other and love each other and say, okay, look, any type of problems, we're going to try to have people to always come around and say, look, man, don't fight, don't do nothing like that. It starves them. So that is where I look at, like, when I look at certain Christians that are basically like, look, man, they're like totally pacifist, saying, look, we got to feed each other, we got to take care of each other, and we have to, above all else, not let any negative thoughts come in, because that's what they feed on. That maybe could be where I'm saying some people might call it a Christ consciousness or something else. I don't think it should be attributed to a person or a being. It should be attributed to an action. So like a way to conduct ourselves that doesn't allow this stuff to get in there. It's like the pimp and the hooker theory. If a girl is waiting at a bus stop and he sends 2 prostitutes over to her and she doesn't walk away, she's opening the door to be susceptible, that she's okay with being around that. It's sort of like going to the store and you see drug dealers hanging around. If you keep going to that store, you're susceptible to what happens in that type of arena. You say, look, you know what? I don't go to that store. I go to the one 10 minutes away. Why? Because I don't put up with that. So this is how they send people to break us down if we're not strong mentally. So it's like that Proverbs thing, stand guard at the door of your mind, because your life flows from it. And it's it gets deep when you look at that. You start to say, man, this is types of energy that the Loosh theory talks about, tasty energy, fear, panic, extreme grief, and positive emotions can do something to maybe block them off, and it could be something like that. It's sort of like when and this might not be a good analogy, but when hunters say you got to kill the deer without it knowing, because if it knows, it'll poison the meat. The fear poisons it. So maybe something to where with them, it's the opposite. They want the fear to create the adrenochrome in the meat. So if we, the we could. There's
adrenaline. They want the adrenaline has to build up. Yes.
Yeah. So if we can use our mind, and that goes back to the mind. Everything they do is try to get us to not think. It's like, just follow.
Hey, real quick. Okay, about thinking, real quick. It just hit me. What's the root word of realm?
Real. Yeah.
Wow, you got it quickly.
Yeah.
Because I had to respell it in my head.
I just want to thank Ragamuffin Visions, blessings, and happy 420 to you too. If you want to hop on the link, he came on last night. He had some really good stuff to add in. 201. They're masters of physical waveform, can shapeshift and contort into whatever is conducive to your mind's reality. If you want to hop on, we got the link pinned to the top. I don't think I've ever seen 201 and KB, unless that's KB from South Africa that used to come on a long time ago. We got
these Hubers that you were talking about, Scrub. They had like the Mantis versions. They have like all these different versions of aliens. Supposedly, and supposedly like there's these reptilian
counterparts.
There's these like reptilian people. These like reptilian aliens are trying to like take over their Earth or whatever. And like when you see certain people that look weird, like Zuckerberg looks weird, like his eyes are weird, like he doesn't quite look human. Like supposedly like those are like the alien like beings like that are kind of like in control of humanity, you know. And like social media has created a lot of angst and suffering and grief and a lot of contention amongst a lot of people. And it's like that's it, if that alien was trying to harvest that energy because of all the strife and everything going on, like social media is a huge causer of that, and Zuckerberg is like what was a big cause of that, you know. He doesn't look human.
I mean, you saw the episode where he was on some show, I forget what it was. It was like maybe, I don't know, like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and they're telling him to take off his jacket, and he doesn't want to take off his jacket because in his jacket, someone said they saw him take it off his jacket, and they saw like like some writing on the inside of his jacket. So finally, they get him to take off the jacket, and they're like, "Okay, you know, hold that open. Let's see what it says." And then I forgot exactly what it said, but similar to like the Jesuit manifesto. It's like their manifesto is to do this, and it sounds. And the lady's like, "Whoa, that's like super Illuminati, man. Like, why would you have that written?" So, it's just our motto or thing. And, you know, it's like if you can look up that episode and you and see what's written in the back of inside the back of his jacket on the inside. You can't see it. It's on the inside.
The Jesuit manifesto, it is very evil. Very evil.
Yeah, it's basically literally not verbatim, but something similar to that. And you find out he's related to, I guess, Rockefeller, one of these groups. And you find out that these guys are into all that stuff. And then it's like, man, it's like, look at that. I mean, he was embarrassed to do it. I mean, because he knew that he shouldn't have taken the jacket off, but they were like insisting to take off your jacket. It's kind of like in, you know, like in Goodfellas or something, but it's like, take off the jacket, man. But yeah. So I mean, people, they'll show their hand, like Musk now. I mean, the stuff he's saying, give everyone free money. It's cool because the AI is going to outweigh the inflation. Like the amount of speed, the sheer speed and production of AI will outweigh the inflation. Apparently, he said that. He's like, it's like, so basically the Wally thing. We're talking about it. We don't even have time to even talk about this, to even ponder it. They're already saying it. He's already saying it, calling for this to do it already now. The fact that we just recently talked about this and now he's already calling for that is just mind blowing, man. These guys are moving at light speed, just like with this AI stuff. This AI stuff shouldn't have been out. OpenAI should have been out till now, maybe 2025, 2026, but no, they pushed it 5 years earlier for a reason, and now you see what the effects are starting to happen, and it's going to happen at an extremely rapid pace.
Layoffs like crazy. Layoffs are happening already like crazy due to AI.
Yep.
People are losing jobs. I mean, where are the jobs going to be? You seen that Boston Dynamics, the Atlas robot? That thing is unbelievable. It can do everything. It's already being used in, I think, the Hyundai automotive plant to build cars.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It really is. It's like they were saying that when the Strait of Hormuz over by Iran was closed, like I think a few hours before that, somebody had did something with like restricting the price or like the oil and made 800 million, and they're suspecting that it's Trump's son, Barron Trump. I mean,
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, you're looking at criminality on a whole different level, man. I mean, I'm surprised people just haven't gone ape shit, because when you look at what's going on, and it's like pressuring people to the
They're
point.
Ball chasers, Andy. They're ball chasers. They're not going to go ape shit. They're chasing the balls.
You're right. It's sad because you got people that are, you know, $15 an hour, and you got to pay $5 back in tax. That's freaking. That demoralizes a person.
I think they're manipulating the markets right now with all the ceasefire, the back and forth. They're trying to manipulate the markets. That's what they're doing.
Think of the money that they're just taking from people for this fake, this Artemis stuff. I mean, that's just embarrassing that people are still. You got pages talking, oh yeah, they just went around the moon, and I'm like, holy smokes, Zombieville. It's Zombieville. Yeah.
You can't stop it. You can't stop it.
It's to a point where there's a way. It's just to figure out, okay, how. It's like a puzzle. It's to say, okay, there's always that way. It's like, you know, this is how guerrilla warfare defeats armies. It's like, okay, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to have to destroy everything so you don't get what you want. And that's the only thing that people can hold on to say, okay, you're going to have to fight for it. Or it's going to be where if you come to try to get that now, really the offensive is really the way. I mean,
I don't think that happens in the movies. I don't think that's real life,
Well, I think it does happen in real life, but they're never going to publicize it.
But hold on, wait, because what we see in the movies seem to come true all the time, but what we saw on NASA was completely fake. So it's like what they want us to say is fact is actually fake. What they show in the movies actually comes real. So that right there should tell you what's going on. The problem is people think, oh, that's just in the movies.
Well,
that's
think
what
about
everything.
If people were capturing and hanging law enforcement, this is just a speculative thing I'm saying, staying within. Now, if they were hanging and burning and lynching, you think they would put that on the news? No, they always want to put stuff with cops hunting people down to break people's spirit. And that could very well be happening right now. There could be people getting offed. This is why, because I said, why all this surveillance? Because cartels don't play around. Cartels ain't afraid of the cops, and dirty cops ain't cops. That's what people don't realize. They try to say, oh, these officers, that ain't an officer. That's a criminal. That's a criminal. Just like in Scarface, when the guy was like, oh, you can't shoot a cop. He said, whoever said you was one. Because you cease being a cop when you become dirty. And they try to tell us that, oh, no, well, these law enforcement did. No, that's a criminal at that point. The fact that Trump's spiritual advisor got 4 years and only did 6 months. 4 years is ridiculous for graping a 12-year-old up until she was 16. And you see him walking. I can't even believe that person's walking around. Now, if something were to happen to him, do you think they're really going to publicize that? No, because it'll give the people hope to say, okay, look, this is how you change. Like Captain John Brown, he goes, you want to end slavery? Start killing slave masters. And that's what he did until they caught him and hung him. And the people that caught him was the Union Army. So the South that tries to play that they're all tough and hillbilly were getting killed and hung by this man, Captain John Brown, this great white hero. That's the real great white hope, Captain John Brown, who was working with a black woman and other black revolutionaries. So again, different people working together is possibly the only way they can be defeated. And I'm surprised that that story is still able to be found, when you look at that, because they want you to look at stuff. Okay, Captain John Brown eventually got hung. Nat Turner was eaten, basically. There's a book called The Delectable Negro that people need to look into. Cannibalism of rich people in America that used to eat black people and eat mummies too, the Egyptian stuff. You can look into all of this. There's something these people might look like us, but they're not like us. And they come in all forms. That's why I was saying the person in the mirror, the person that looks at you, that's the easiest way to get to somebody, because you might not expect that person. That the expectation is what? The fool's currency. So when we look at it, if it was hopeless, if the situation was hopeless, they wouldn't need billions of dollars of propaganda every year. It's telling us that we have a checkmate on the board. We have something very valuable that we contain that we don't even know we contain. So when I look at that spiritual, now Trump has this woman, she's straight Benny Hinn. The grift is so ridiculous. They're changing verses in the Bible. Anybody can look this shit up right now. They're weaponizing the stupid religious, not the smart religious, but the idiotic religious. They're weaponizing them. Timbo says truckers have lost so much money during this crap. We need those guys back to be okay. For us to be, yeah, exactly, man, exactly. This is to a point to where we think there's not a war. They've declared war on us for the last 200 years. We've been at war, and we don't even know. We say, well, you know what? I get to watch a football game, so I guess we're not at war. Just the fact the natives knew this. They're poisoning the water, the land, in my opinion, and the air. So what do you mean we're not at war? We're not at war with them, but they've already declared war on us. Every day they do.
MB, can
Right?
I just say that I don't think it's hopeless. It's just I think it's more about survival. Because, like, okay, with this new technology now, I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to be real careful with what we say. It can be used against us. You
We've
know what I'm
always
saying?
had to be careful with that freedom of speech. Anybody that tells you that they're giving you freedom of speech is the enemy.
Yeah.
Ice-T said it best: freedom of speech, just watch what you say.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. I
why
hate to say it too. I don't like it, but what can I do?
I mean, when people protest, I look at them, I said, you're an idiot. I'm like, it protests. I'm like, well, that's an early warning system. And they make laws to the Vietnam stuff. They made look. What they should have did was do what they're supposed to do. You know, you see all of these cowards. I mean, these guys are the worst. These racists that run around preaching the Second Amendment because of, weapons, because of tyranny in the government. Which one of them supports the government? None of them. Matter of fact, they're the worst people in America. Racist, inbred PDF files that all they want to do is grape their own children. This is why we have 70% of the men committing that is from that demographic. And the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment. These are the biggest cowards in our country. If it's our country, Locke and Rose said it best. What is a man really saying when he says, I love my country? You know, it's again, the bird looking for the cage. And it's comfort too, comfortable slavery, man. You know, we're all going to die, but not everybody's going to live, man. Not everybody's going to live. And I used to think, all right, what does it mean? I'm not the villain, but it says, okay, if you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I was like, well, wait a second. How am I the villain if I grow older? Oh, because I'm not fighting what needs to be fought. You have to die the hero. Because as we get older, we start to see we are the villain. We're the villain that allowed this to happen. What do we tell a 15-year-old or a 20-year-old that says, hey, man, what were you doing for the last 15 years? The skies are just ridiculous. Well, I was being an idiot. And most adults can't even say that to the young. Most of the time, the younger people don't even care because they've been demoralized because we haven't fought for them. But we'll go fight somebody in Iran and all of this. That's what drives me insane to be like, wait a minute, I was ready to pick up machine guns and stuff. For what? For people I didn't even know? And I knew in there who the real enemy was. When I used to go into the barracks and see the pictures of all those products, like, I don't look at these freaking demons on the freaking wall, Secretary of State and all of that shit. I knew that from when I was a kid in elementary school. Why do they have these old morbid PDF files called presidents all littered across the top of the classroom in second grade? You know, instead of having plants and animals and all that, no, they have these monsters. School was horrible the more I think about it. The only class that was even somewhat okay was kindergarten. And once you got past that, it was like just prison. It was prison. The crime right now that we're allowing to happen to children shows that we are the villain already. KB says the Greek philosopher Xenos mentions humans have lost their original mammalian way. I don't know about the mammalian thing. These guys look at us more as animals, thinking we've usurped into using death science by these master of ways form. If you want to come on and explain it, I don't know exactly, but yeah, man, this
yeah, I wanted to, because you talk about in Captain John Brown, right? It's a revolutionary, right? So I did a thing on AI. I compared him with, of course, you already know, Tupac. So I was like, who wins on this one? So here's a short answer of what it said. I'm just going to post it real quick.
Why?
It says, No, it's a two-part. It's a two-part thing here. It says here.
Tupac has never killed anybody.
Hold on. Okay, let's hear what it says. I'm asking the thing to be non-biased. Okay. If you define a revolutionary by immediate physical results, because he was.
I know what it's saying. It's saying, please, don't.
He literally pulled the trigger and started the countdown to the end of slavery. You see, to the end of slavery in America, that right there is already red flag to me because, was that already planned for that? Like, was he doing a job or whatever?
Get the
okay, there's that.
The bench.
There's that, and then here's the here's the other one. Look, they have. I can get you some bed sheets of Captain. What's his name? Probably too. But look, here's the other one. So then it says.
What was Bigfoot's role in this whole thing?
Okay, before we get to Bigfoot, it says, if you define a revolution by longevity and influence, Tupac wins. His revolution is still happening in the ears of people from Brooklyn to Brazil, influencing how they view authority and all that.
What if Tupac was really Bigfoot?
All right, who knows? But that was AI.
Compare Captain John Brown, a man who risked his life he got rid of slavery.
Tupac didn't risk his life. He got shot how many times?
Who?
Tupac got shot like I don't know how many times before he.
Tupac, I can't even believe this. I just he has graped your mind to a point.
If that was the case, then AI would have said that they don't even compare. That's what it would have said.
AI, you gotta really dig with AI. You gotta ask it the questions. Ask it stuff like, was Tupac a fake? Could he have been a plant that got people to call each other the N-word, which degraded society for the last 30 years into where people think that that's a good thing? That's like women calling themselves sleuths or biatches or hoes or something. I mean, how is that good, man? Captain John Brown went around fighting for freedom for more than just himself.
You weren't there to witness that. We were here to witness this with Tupac.
I can't even believe. I just. Holy smokes, man!
Because you believe this guy single-handedly ended slavery. Is that what you're saying?
Tupac?
No, he didn't. Captain John Brown didn't single-handedly end slavery. He showed you what needed to be done. If there were 100 Captain John Browns, that would have made a serious effect. What Tupac did, he said, listen, I want you guys to deal drugs, go away, call each other.
No, I'm talking about, I want to learn more about the captain guy. I want to learn more about the captain because you're always going to be doing that.
But you need to,
hold on. Did he defect? Did Captain John Brown defect from the military?
You're not going to learn Captain John Brown in 10 minutes on the show.
Did he get orders to do that? No, I'm asking you. I don't know. I'm asking you.
But this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. You're not going to absorb it. You need to reflect. You need to read it. You need to go through things. You want the McDonald's answer. You can't get that with anything in life. You have to go through and think and say, let me look about this. Let me see what position was he in monetarily. Who gave him money to fund him? I think there was a black woman who was the lover of a plantation owner in California. And I think she might have gave him $1 million. I'm not sure, or got him out of debt. So you have to look through these things. You're not going to learn it on live stream because we're going to have interruptions.
I'm asking you a quick question. I said,
and what I'm telling you is, I'm giving you a brief synopsis, but I'm saying you need to read about this by yourself because with somebody else telling you it,
I don't need to read about it because I wasn't alive to witness it. That's why I don't read that crap because I know it's bullshit.
The research you've
I know it's been prepackaged. No, just like 9/11. Just like 9/11, it's gonna be prepackaged.
All of the research you've done it. How about going to the library? Have you been to a library ever? Go to a freak. I know Panama's got to have libraries.
Read books that have been prepackaged and lied and everything else.
All right, so better yet, you're listening to albums that.
Go to the library and read Darwin. Am I going to believe that too?
Reading Darwin lets you battle people and say, look, right here, he wrote in the book that he wants people to be exterminated between basically a white man all the way down to a baboon, to where they won't be anything like the Negro, the Australian Aborigine, or even a gorilla. It'll be a baboon to what they would consider to be a man. So when these people, especially black people that follow this religion of evolution, they're digging their own grave. Just like black people that listen to Tupac, they dig their own grave.
Because you're telling someone to go to a library. You're telling me to go to a library. What if you tell that to someone else? I'm telling you to go to a library because when you sit down and you open a book and you look through it and you put the pages, your mind is in a different frame of thought. You're not looking at a screen. Now you can look it up on a screen when you're by yourself, because now you can think about things and don't run to talk to somebody else right away. Gain your content just the way you would sit there and listen to your Tupac songs and all of that. Pay Captain John Brown the same respect and say, you know what? I'm going to listen to his song. I'm going to read about the people. That is very hypocritical, man. The way you're
oh my goodness. How the hell is that? I'm telling you to do the work yourself. You're lazy, man. So you
because we know the written word from these people. Unless we're around to witness it, we know how these people manipulate stuff, right?
Brought up Tupac.
Okay, forget Tupac. We're talking about something else right now. I'm saying you want me to go to a library and believe the official narrative of these
You're
books.
Believing the official narrative on Tupac.
Because I was there to witness it. I wasn't there to witness Columbus. I wasn't there to witness Jesus. I wasn't there to witness this guy, Captain, whatever his name is. I wasn't there to witness it. So how am I? Who am I to?
You were never there to witness Tupac.
Dude, we were alive to witness 9/11. We were here to witness Tupac.
You weren't there to witness 9/11 either, because what you got, all right, I was here for 9/11, but what I got was the official story. If I didn't know what I knew when that happened, the only person that I could talk to was the doctor I knew. And he was
so don't be telling me to go to no library, man. That's an insult.
See, the fact that you don't want to go to the library, you like a vampire trying to go to a church. What was it going to hurt you?
You want me to be zombified to read that?
You don't want. So, in other words, you don't have. How I can't believe you don't. You're looking at not going to a library. What's wrong with going to a library, man? You know what happens at libraries? You learn, actually.
Wow, dude. I can't even. I don't know.
You don't want to go to a library? Holy smokes, man.
How many of those books that we know that are in libraries are not telling us the truth? Honestly, do you honestly think
how many are going to give you an insight? Even if you read The Origin of Species, you would say, okay, I'm seeing where this guy's coming from. This is BS. This is this. Okay, I'm understanding why he would look at that. The inference. Somebody's going to the beach with a towel. He thinks they're going in the water, but that's not a fact. Most people go there, they lay the towel on the sand, they get the tan, and they come home. They never touch the water. Somebody walking into a library thinking they're going to read a book, that's inference. That's not a fact. They could walk in there to return a book. They could walk in there to say hi to somebody, or they can walk in there to go and sit down and read a book. So inference is very different, but you can understand why somebody might come to that logical conclusion, but it's not true. And this is where a lot of the evolution zombies don't see it. This is where you might not see it. You might say, well, there's a lot of books in there with lies. There's also a lot of books in there with truth and clues. That's the biggest thing. So even if you don't get the straight out truth, you're going to get clues. And when you look for something, you might find something else that you never expected to find. But the only way to
because I know if I let my mind wander, like you're saying, I'll be caught and I won't want to go to the truth. I'll be. Well, that's what happens, man. I get stuck, like just like anyone else. People that have known, we studied together. Wait, we studied that together.
You know why your mind probably wanders?
5 years later, he's talking about Trump. I'm like,
your mind wanders from listening to too much Tupac. That's probably why it wanders.
You're gonna use that now.
No, that's all. The fact that you brought that up, Trump and all of this shit is relevant to what we're talking about.
Because you finally brought up because you brought up Captain. What's his name? Because he
no.
Yo, Gauss got to come on, man.
Thank you, Gauss, for the support, brother. Good to see you too, Gauss, man. It's been a while, man. Thank you, brother, for the support. If you want to hop on, bro, we got the link pinned to the top of the chat. Scribe is wearing me down with Tupac, man. I don't know where Jake and Mr. X are. I was hoping they would come to help with this.
No. I'm here. I just you guys were rocking, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Thank you, Gauss. Thank you, Gauss, brother. I appreciate it, man.
No, I don't even.
He's kryptonite. All I gotta say is Tupac, and he's all.
It's not even to say Tupac. You're trying to compare Tupac to Captain John Brown, a revolutionary, a real revolutionary.
Scribe Biggie. Biggie was the man, so you got it all wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
Not
So
sorry.
Biggie slept on his couch. He's the one who brought in Biggie.
I don't want to hear
made
rappers. How do we go to rappers? How do we even?
No, revolutionaries. He happened to be a rapper.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Scribe,
and his revolution is still in effect today.
I don't
this
know.
other guy you're talking about. We don't know.
It was really Snoop Dogg, actually. I think Snoop Dogg was the one behind that.
Snoop Dogg. The only reason he's still alive is because he didn't,
Snoop Dogg was the king, man.
He's a sellout. That's
you ever seen the Puppy Bowl with Snoop Dogg?
It's over. It's over.
I know.
It's done. It's over.
Remember, man. It's Zombieland. You can't deny it. You know what I mean? This is reality.
Because he's saying the same thing about this captain guy. He risked his life. I'm saying, well, Tupac also risked his life. He also risked his life. They both risked their lives. Okay.
No, they didn't. Idea. Tupac did not risk his life. Captain John Brown.
Many times, not just once.
Who did Tupac kill that was a slave master?
Yeah, who?
Bro,
and then
he was going up against
John Brown.
He was going against the Illuminati through the media. He had millions of people watching. Man. Do you understand how much crazier that is? Because now you have access to millions of people. You can change their minds like this.
With the Illuminati like 20 years after John Todd, or 30 years.
Captain Joe Brown did not have John Brown.
John Todd. He's the one who exposed the Illuminati back in 1970s. John Todd. He still has his videos. You can hear his recordings on YouTube. John Todd.
Okay, that's cool. But I'm saying, did he become a superstar?
Tupac was even born, probably.
Did he become a superstar and risk his career, his life, everything, making millions of dollars?
He was sent to a mental institution where he disappeared.
The fact that Scribe is mad that I told him to go to a library, I can't even believe that. That's like a kid. You tell him read a book. Why?
That's like telling me go to Wikipedia. That's like saying go to Wikipedia.
No,
and read
I'm not. Going to Wikipedia is worse. If you got to come back to the computer after, fine, but go to the library and just say, hey, do you have any books?
Oh, you want me to read novels and shit? What, like Oliver Twist or something? What do you want me to read exactly that you're talking about? That's going to get my mind off that.
You can find, and you won't find the physical paper, but they should have like documents, newspapers from the 1800s that you should be able to find, where you look at them through the through the computer. Or you can
do that online.
Why don't you go to a rare bookstore that happens to sell something in Latin that there's only a few copies in the world?
No. Captain John Brown was around during English, the English we speak. So there's no loss of translation there. You're saying, okay, this was in this era of the 1800s, or I'm surprised the fact that I got to.
Okay. Let me ask you one question. Let's just debate this normally. Was that taught in school? Was it taught in school that Captain John Brown did this? Was that taught in school?
It was taught in school. There was a lot of bullshit taught in school.
It wasn't.
Hold on. Then what was taught in school? Instead of him,
you had to find about Captain John Brown by yourself in the alternative studies, just like the book, The Delectable Negro, when they would eat black people. You're not going to be taught that in school, and it's almost unbelievable. But when you look it up, you start to say, "Holy smokes!" Look at the thing that you're saying is I might not. RFK. All right, now this is relevant to the thing. RFK, they're talking about cut off a raccoon's penis, and I think they're even saying he ate it. He did this. These people are doing some ritualistic stuff. You're not going to find that in the school. Captain John Brown fought and died for the emancipation of enslaved people.
So I'm not going to hold on. So you're going too fast. So I'm not going to find him in the library because he is considered.
No, you're going to find him. You're not going to find him in the school, but you'll find him in the library. Or if you don't want to go, which I think you should, look online. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Nowadays there's no excuse. It just takes a Google search. Really.
Yeah, and more than Google, you go into other ones.
Again, when someone says that, it's like, here we go, Wikipedia. Same old crap.
You're a computer expert. You can figure out to find out different sites with Captain John Brown, Smithsonian Institution. You can look at.
No, I can do a deep dive on him. I just because this is you recently bring this guy up.
You don't want to go to the library and do a deep dive.
Dude, I can do a deep dive.
You're not going to learn it in the library.
Who the hell goes to the library now? I mean,
I do. I still go to the freaking library
unless I want a book that's not available, it's not on the internet, then I'll go to the fucking library.
Amazon.
If it's a book that's not accessible online, then I'll have to go to the library or go to the Vatican or something. I don't know.
The Vatican.
I'm just being funny because there's certain bookstores you have to go to find certain books, and you're not going to find in the library. These are like rare books that are hundreds of years old.
The key is finding the right books.
They don't exist on the internet, but you have to literally be able to buy them to actually get access to them. And these are like in the thousands of dollars, and they're still in the original language, not messed up by English or any of that.
So why don't you do that?
Well, that's for that, but he's talking about Captain John Brown. I can look at that.
Right, look at this. There was a time, right? If you look at this, you might find this stuff where John Brown, he met Harriet Tubman, who was helping people. Do you know who Harriet Tubman was?
Yeah, that name was pounded into our heads.
All right, what did Harriet Tubman do?
She was part of the anti-civil rights thing, and
no, way before the civil rights.
Honestly, the name is in my head. I just know it's something with the black
That was the railroad underneath the tunnel.
No, this is embarrassing at this point. So you can tell me.
Okay, he just gave me a clue. It's something about the railroad. Harriet Tubman, something about that. That's as far as it goes. Because it doesn't affect me in this life. That's why I don't study that.
This cannot.
It's like I didn't study the thing about Tupac being black. He's happened to be a black guy.
You gotta be trolling. You can't be this stupid, man. I cannot believe this shit.
You want me to remember sixth grade, man? Are you serious?
You don't know who Harriet? You think Harriet Tubman was civil rights in the 90s? What the hell is wrong with you, bro?
I don't know, something during that era about the 1800s, right? Somewhere around there.
Oh my God! You gotta go to the library, man. You gotta go. You act like a vampire going to a church.
It's like me asking you about someone you've heard about but you don't know anything about. I'm gonna be, I got you.
It's not. I'm not saying I got you. I'm saying, bro, you need to do this research and understand that there is nowhere you can even put these people next. Tupac is like a cockroach on the ground, and these are human beings.
No, the fact that's been pounding that name was pounded in my head. I know that's
well, then if it was pounding in your head, how do you not know?
I'm saying the name. If the name is pounding in my head for a reason, just like Anne Frank and all this other stuff, that is there for a reason.
I can't even it's over. I don't even know what to say. You're not going to learn it in the live stream. And you want the McDonald's answer. You're not going to get that.
I don't want to learn any of that. I want to get away from that because that's the fake stuff.
But you want to compare him to Tupac. That's what I'm saying. If you don't want to know about him, okay. But you cannot compare him to Tupac. Tupac is a garbage bag. I mean, what the hell is wrong with you, man?
They're both revolutionaries. One has a mic, the other one has a gun. It's two different guys. One's doing it.
MD, this is a good example why I told you the people are never going to revolt. We can't defeat the system. I'm sorry.
I can't even believe this shit. And even science is the Underground Railroad lady. Well, what the hell is wrong? People are just gone, man. People are just gone. I can't even believe.
You tell me the railroad wasn't there? Something about the railroad?
Well, he Underground Railroad. He don't know who the hell it is. He needs. I mean, how you even gonna call her the Underground Railroad lady? That's some ignorant. You know,
wait, let me look it up.
This lady should be looked at with respect. Captain John Brown respected her so much he called her General Tubman. This woman saved people. She brought people from the south to the north through the Underground Railroad, and the Amish helped.
Oh, so it was Underground Railroad. Okay.
Yeah. So at nighttime, the Amish would leave their quilts on the clothesline as a sign to say, "Hey, it's safe to bring them here." So you had And this is things that need to be taught to black and white people. You know, you say, look.
Meanwhile, Mother Teresa, who's not black, is evil, right? That's what you told me about her.
I'm saying that you can't even compare these revolutionary to some closet.
No, you sound very biased. Is what you sound.
You cannot compare that.
You sound biased, and you ate that up in school.
I'm biased, right? I'm biased because I'm showing you.
You ate that up in school. The fact that school taught you that really should tell you
something. School did not teach me anything about Tubman or Captain. I had to learn this thing by going to the library myself.
Well, they sparked it, didn't they? They
did not spark it. School.
Then why was that pounded in my head?
So that's what school would try to tell you. Oh, he cut down a cherry tree. He cannot tell a lie. Meanwhile, he was a straight PDF file slave on. You know, you look at the reality of this. I don't know where did you even like? Am I on Earth? Is this planet Earth? What the hell is going on here? You compared Tupac to Captain John Brown. You must be out of your mind. That's what I'm saying. You want to compare Tupac to Jay-Z or one of these other guys? Fine. You cannot. There is no comparison. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're on a computer level of an architect level. To compare you to somebody who has never used a computer, that's an insult to you. Just the way it's an insult to compare John Brown to Tupac. That's the difference. It's that much of a gap.
Didn't they say the pen is mightier than the sword? He got a massive worldwide audience. It's still going on today. His message of stop the violence, fix our streets, clean up our streets before we can have unity.
Oh my God.
That's one of the wisest words ever spoken, because we can't even clean up our streets. How are you gonna be having any kind of unity? Just those basic words. And he went against the powers that be, and look what happens.
I don't know what type of spell that rap.
And it's hard to believe because it came from the most unlikely person. I understand that. I understand. Okay, he was related to that. He used the N-word. I understand that, but that was his thing.
But why do you keep pushing this scribe? Why? What is the motivation?
Because he can't believe that some other guy recently did something. Oh no, it has to be this other guy that happened 200 years ago or something that I don't even know about.
I can't believe
I was going to lie to witness this, but it's true, right? Even though I find out 9/11, now they're teaching the kids the official story. Oh, that's buried. So what he read about Harriet Tubman is buried and refabricated and repackaged for his consumption to keep him a zombie, and that's what I'm against.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't even believe.
You cannot argue against that. So what you read in school or whatever after school, you read about it. You took that and ran with it without doing your own research.
Now I can't believe you said that. I cannot believe this, man. It just.
So you did. So be honest. Did you really?
I can't believe.
Did you write a thesis on this? Or some type of analysis?
What I'm trying to tell you trying to compare Tupac to people that actually did something.
Dude, I'm asking you something. Tupac's got you so.
Because you're comparing. The comparison is what has me like. Are you out of your mind?
Well, it's like, how dare that him, be any? We're all human. Right?
Who doesn't know? Like, who would you say doesn't know anything about computers? Like a person that's well known, a celebrity, or is there anybody like? Because
lots of people.
All right. So who's the lowest person that you would say that knows about computers that's a celebrity?
The lowest person. I mean, unless I knew them personally, I wouldn't know. I would have to guess.
You guess. Like, this person is like, in no way can they even be compared to your knowledge on computers.
For example, Henry Cavill.
Okay, so comparing Henry Cavill on the subject of computers to you, that's this is the.
Well, he knows how to build a computer and upgrade and all that stuff.
Okay, somebody that's not even that skilled in a computer. So most people they don't even know how to build it. I'm not that skilled with a computer. I don't know.
Just say the majority would not go that deep.
What
That's like going under your hood of your car.
That might not even be a great analogy, because I'm trying to put it in the context of something that you're extremely highly skilled at, like elite level, compared to somebody who doesn't know any, like maybe one of these YouTubers or something that or TikTokers that just uses the phone, that doesn't even use a computer. All they know is the phone.
In this case, it's not the same thing. The AI is saying,
I'm talking the low level that person's on compared to your level. The gap is even wider than that compared to John Brown and Tupac, or Harriet Tubman and Tupac, or Dred Scott and Tupac, or Robert Greene Ingersoll and Tupac, or many people. It's like you're trying to compare, Socrates to Tupac. It's like
the issue was, if he would have continued, it would have ended up going global, which it did. Even though he got snuffed out early, it still went global. You can go to some country in the world you never heard of, they got a big old Tupac graffiti on the thing. So his message is transcendental as far as not just English, but every other language, whatever. And for some reason, it just hit, and they didn't like that, and fortunately, they had to take him out. But when you look deeper, you realize that he would have gone to that level if it had to go political and start, doing that. So he could have been the next, revolutionary, not just revolution, but global revolutionary, not just U.S. That's a whole different. That's what it was leading to. I'm okay. Whatever you want to say, what you want to say. I'm just saying that's why even chat was like, look, these two guys are different, but they did do their thing in different ways.
Who's saying that in the chat? Who's saying that?
The captain did it with force, with guns. He got the job done, and Tupac did it with the mic and influence over the millions of people that he
Tupac
influenced.
Didn't do anything in comparison to what Captain John Brown or Harriet Tubman.
They didn't even allow him to fulfill his mission, is what I'm saying. It's even worse. That's like taking out John Brown before he had a chance to do that.
He got hung, but he did do something. He did. Oh my goodness!
Right, he got allowed to do it. This guy didn't get a chance.
You're crazy. It just. So when he was dancing as a backup dancer, you don't go from being Fruit City.
So when you were in high school, again, when you were in high school, I'm going to go by then, right? Again, you always
when I was Tupac, I was already in my 20s when we didn't listen to Tupac. People.
No, it's like me asking you a question, but I want you to be back in high school and answer it that way. Because you always want to take his past and be,
go ahead.
Ballerina or tutu, whatever. You see, you always love doing that. You never want to. The fact you don't want to keep it logical means there's something there that does, you can't argue it.
So what are you saying?
That they're both on the same level as far as revolutionaries. They gave their life for it. One wasn't able to fulfill it, but if he did, it would have been on a global scale, a much larger scale than the other guy. But the other guy actually got to do it, and then he got hung. Gave that big respects, definitely props, big respects. I'm just saying, in recent times, we have another example, but he did it in a different way.
There's no comparison, man.
So awakening people is no comparison. Getting the masses to understand what's going on.
What I'm saying is the two people you're trying to compare, the comparison that you're trying
to even give that military thing any credence as far as that, because it was a military operation. Whether he defected and decided to do that is up to him, but he was still part of that military installation. Tupac is some random dude, had millions of dollars, had a very good talent, did movies and music, was able to accumulate lots of money, and decide, you know what, this is not right, and I'm going against it, even though I'm comfortable. I got millions of dollars. If John Brown had that, you think he'd be doing what he's doing? I doubt it. So the fact that this guy was rich and famous, both super status, and decided, you know what, I'm going to do this anyway, that's the highest degree.
Tupac ever have a wanted poster? No, right?
Probably, I don't know.
This was such a good topic about movies. Why did we have to go to Tupac? Why?
That's the trauma. Scribe has been traumatized by Tupac, and he traumatizes everybody else.
That we've had recent revolutionists that we have not given credit to. He wants to go with some guy 200 years ago. That's fine. I'm saying recent times we still have some people, and it's in a different way. It's in a high tech way, and it's not viewed the same way because he wasn't a general or he wasn't a captain doing it in the thing, and we were, all that stuff is complete lies. So the fact that he's accepting that and taking the official story already tells me he'll buy some things that the government tells him, and others say, oh, that evolution, whatever. Okay, obviously that's fake, but there's other stuff he'll take it and accept that. I'm saying I can't accept any of that because I already know what happened in 9/11. You saw what happened in 9/11, and you see the official story, and you know what happened behind the story. That means everything you know about in history has gone through that same process of recalibration and repackaging to make it fit a narrative that has nothing to do with reality whatsoever.
I mean,
you cannot argue with that. That's a fact. You're cherry picking your stuff based on those lies. You already know they're lies. You haven't done the research deep.
How did you expose the Illuminati? But tell me, what'd you learn about the Illuminati based on that? What'd you learn about them?
We don't know. We don't know. There's many different theories on who these
guys are.
You said
he exposed them, and you don't know.
He's not gonna identify who they are, but he's gonna give you the.
So he just said the name. That's it. He just said the name.
The initial spark, and that was enough to be like, okay.
But that was started by Weishaupt way back, I think, in Germany, long time ago.
Yeah, I don't Weishaupt in Germany, the Bavarian Illuminati, and guess what, Mr. X? 1 month on the date exact before 1776, when the U.S. was, the colonies, all that stuff was formed. 1 month before that, the Bavarian Illuminati in Germany was created. And on Weishaupt, in this picture, he looks just like George Washington.
But why don't you tie it to the banking system, the Federal Reserve, and everything like that?
And that's where you can find the proof. At least we know they own that part. Above that, we don't know.
Yeah, but the so-and-so didn't say anything about that. He just said the name, and that's it. And it's like, that's not exposing anything, just saying a name. You gotta have some details. You gotta have some background. What it's about.
Well, if you want actual evidence of that, look up Dun & Bradstreet, United States of America Incorporated, and you'll find out who the shareholders are. And then look up the Federal Reserve, which is not federal whatsoever, and look up who the shareholders are.
It was formed in Jekyll Island by the
No, I'm giving you something that's public knowledge and that's legal. It's public knowledge, and we can talk about it.
So is Jekyll Island.
It's on there.
So is Jekyll Island.
Okay, so if the evidence is there to be looked at, and it's there, it's real, it's evidence, then you already know that there's something there. Beyond that, we don't know. But we know at least that these particular shareholders are tied to these particular companies.
We know it's private. The Federal Reserve is private. It's not federal in any way, shape,
right. It's not federal. Exactly. It's a private company, just like jails now. The private jails, all of it's private. Nothing federal whatsoever. So again, these are all illegal entities or companies that are tied to the United States corporation. The thing is, the United States itself is a corporation. That's why you can have all these other entities who are fake corporations, private corporations, run for that. While the monarchy, the real power, created this United States of America Incorporated into a corporation. So now you can bring in all these other people mixed in from all over the world. We don't care who you are, just come in, whatever. Now it's a problem with immigrants, whatever. But the original experiment was bringing in all these people who are supposedly at war. You have Chinese, you have whatever, Russian, whatever. They're here, they're Americans, but yet we're at war with the country. Just like me, Panamanian, half American. My dad's white, my mom's Panamanian. So I'm literally at war with myself. My dad is on a base here in Panama with Noriega and all that, and the U.S. is coming in to do war, and he's part of that operation, but I'm half Panamanian, right? So you can imagine how confused the kid's going to be, 5, 6 years old, witnessing this war, and wait a second, you're going to war with our country? Why? Like, imagine you're 5, 6 years old, and your father is on the other side of the war, and your mother is on the country is being devastated. How would that mess you up as a kid? Would that even make
real separate countries? I mean, they're all under the monetary system, so there's no real such thing as independence. You can't really be independent if you're part of the monetary.
Saying, look how fake it is. I'm saying they bring these people to the U.S. Apparently, we're at war with these people, but we can still mix and breed with them in a melting pot. They claim, but yet outside of that, so they create this whole, like MD was talking about, the white. They'll call it white. We'll glaze over all these people here. It's a melting pot. We've got white, blacks, and yellows, and whatever, Mexicans, and whatever. See, Mexicans don't have it. They don't want the color. And you have the reds with the Native Americans, and they simplify who you are, erase your culture, who you were. You have no history now. Now you eat hamburgers and hot dogs. That's your diet, and you're eating poison, smoking, and inhaling the air that comes from the factories and
We're
everything
not a
else.
culture. We're a corporation. I agree with that part. I agree we're a corporation.
Look at how they can treat you now because you're now under a corporate number, your social security number, all these things. That's your corporate number that's under the law of water, maritime boundary law. You're nothing more than a number, right? So that's why they can treat you. They can tell you, you got to put on a seatbelt. You can't smoke weed. You can't do this. You're a child. You'll break the law if you do that. We'll put you in jail if you do that. We're going to treat you like a child because we own you.
Oh,
in the contract, through your birth certificate, the number's there. So all this stuff has been already proven. So you want to pretend that doesn't exist? Go ahead. But it's there. I've already done all that research a long time ago. I gave a whole stream on it. The law of water.
I know the social security number. I know the research. I got one myself.
It's a long topic.
What would Tupac do?
You see, if Tupac was alive today, man, we probably wouldn't even be in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
My goodness. I don't know. I just
no. He had to do what he had to do. Like you said, when the guys in that situation, he has to go out. He has to go out. He can't stay.
It's like
but it's also true that he has to go out in that point of his life, like when Captain had to get hung in that point in his life because he did what he did.
You just can't see the mind control that they use with these entertainers.
Right, you're telling me that you're getting data from a library while I'm witnessing what's going on, like they did 9/11.
You see why there's not going to be a revolution, MD? This is what I've been talking about. There's no revolution going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's over.
They'll be chasing balls. They'll be chasing balls.
Yeah.
We just didn't know yet.
The system is run on a level that
guys just now started taking control of us or something. No, we've been in the test tube our whole lives.
They've been listening to Tupac.
The people at the top know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I'll send you his last album so you see him, across.
The influence, the grip on the mind that
Trump is copying Tupac with the cross thing, being up on the cross and all
that. That's where they put the subliminal programming into your mind.
But Tupac did it for real. He put himself on the cross.
They made you. What do you think? Who do you think planned that picture, man? That was all planned. His movies. Juice, and that was like one of the crappiest movies ever produced. I mean,
really, I like Juice.
Oh my goodness! I walked out of the theater.
No, but
so him telling his mother, "Don't worry when I go. Don't worry about it. I'm up in heaven. Your baby's all good." So that was all planned out, right? That was all
with Janet Jackson. It's like, why are we even watching this idiot on the screen? It's like when somebody could be learning something, they're watching Tupac. And then when you look at the effect it has on people's minds, that kid, I wonder what would Tupac do? And it's like, what the heck? This is crazy. It's insanity, man. It's insanity. There are no entertainers that you can trust, period. No politicians. You have to think for yourself. And that's what it is. There's no easy solution to this, man. To think that Tupac is gonna get you out of this is just insane. I can't believe it. I don't know what to say, man.
You see how hypocritical what you just said. Let you talk. You're hypocritical. You just said we can't believe in any of these people, these figured people, but we can believe in Captain Joe Brown or John Brown. Right? We can believe him. We can believe him, man. But we can't believe this other stuff that's in the same.
I'm not saying to believe in the person. We can look at the actions of what they've done and say, "Wow."
Did you see his actions? Did you see his actions? Or did you hear about him? Or did you read them?
They have fought the system. You could look at these things, but when you look at an entertainer that's basically saying, "Look,
do I have to watch a picture? Does I see a picture? Is there video evidence of this, or do I have to trust the words of some book that was written?" You see, no video evidence. He's trusting a book that's been already prepackaged and written.
Things happened before video scribe. There was things going on before video was invented.
I know. So now you have to trust the word, and that's been prepackaged and pre-done.
They wrote things down back then.
Yeah, it's convenient, isn't it? It's convenient when you have to just believe.
Well, that's all you can do. I mean, they didn't have anything else.
There's no.
You might as well believe in God, MD, at this point, because you're believing some guy you didn't know even if this guy even exists. He could have been written in there in history. You don't know. We have no proof this guy
But
existed.
Tupac was good. All of this comes from your worship.
We have proof of him existing.
Don't you see how you're worshiping Tupac? This is crazy. This guy is a plant. He was
I'm
always
learning, not worshiping. I'm learning from what happened.
He's a plant. He was a plant that was.
You can get upset and label people
no, I'm
like
not
that.
upset. I'm explaining to you he is responsible for pushing their agenda to destroy his own community.
Yeah, when Dolores you say that, where's the evidence of that?
All right, you got people thinking calling themselves the N-word is a good thing because of Tupac. That is destroying your own community. Words
so Tupac invented the word.
Words have power, man.
Words so Tupac invented that word. Tupac invented that word.
You gotta understand, Scribe. MD grew up in the hood, so he knows the effects. You didn't. He had to experience that negative, effects on society. Right? Am I right, MD?
I mean,
I was around hood dudes too. It wasn't he? He didn't grow up in it. I didn't grow up in it, but I was around it.
All right, let's say you did. Any other person that you can, and this is hard to get through to a lot of people that grew up in the hood because most people are idiots that grow up in the hood. I was an idiot. When you grow up in the hood, the one thing I notice is you start to realize, like, wait a second, if I go to a restaurant and I see people calling themselves the N-word, I don't want to be there. That is so low class, cockroach type behavior. Think about that. You're sitting with your mother and your father, who's an Air Force veteran, and you got some people calling themselves the N-word. You wouldn't, I mean, that's embarrassing. It's self-degrading, and it keeps people in the gutter. You could do it with women. You see women sitting around calling each other, itches and sleuths and all that. Look at the sleut march that they had. How could you respect? How these women are throwing their respect down the gutter with Lauren Southern and then remember the chick that looked like Christian Slater with a blonde wig, and she's marching on a sleut march. How could you? Would you marry? Is that marriage material? I mean, I ain't trying to ever get married, but when you look at these women on what's called a sleut march, why would you? That's self-degradation, and it's the same as somebody calling himself the N-word, trying to act like it's a good thing. This is why people will look at somebody like that and be like, they have to be low IQ.
But come on, you know that it's used in different ways, right?
There ain't no come on about it. How would your mother feel if you have a girlfriend and she refers to herself as a bee or a hoe or a sleut? Your mother would look at that person as
that's different. That's only negative.
So now you got a friend.
The N-word is not completely negative.
Okay, so you got a friend around.
Yin and yang. Ho and all that is negative.
So now you got a friend around. You can see it with the women, but you can't see it with the Tupac. You got a friend you introduced to your father, mother, and he's constantly calling himself N. He's calling you that. You my N. All of this.
Say, that's my dude. That's my
no. He's using the N-word because you're saying that's a good thing now.
It's the F word. It gives it more.
You're saying it's a good thing. There comes a point.
No, man, it gives it more of a positive thing.
I don't think anybody who didn't grow up in the hood should glorify the hood.
No, not even people that grow up in the hood. You cannot glorify. You can't. It's like Diogenes said. To even be proud of your country is like a maggot being proud.
That's like saying that's my brother, man. How do you not see that? That's my brother.
Don't see it. That's Room. Good to see you, man. I hope you're feeling better, bro. It's always good to see you. Scribe, you just don't see it, and there's nothing I can say because it. You know what it shows me? How strong mental programming is with music and movies, because 30 years you've been under the spell of Tupac. That's crazy when I think about that, to where you would compare him to people like Captain John Brown and Harriet Tubman. and Frederick Douglass and George Washington Carver and stuff like that. How could you even? I mean,
he did it by himself at the worst odds.
And now, I can't believe you.
Oh, there you go. Now you got the right attitude, MD. Just laugh. It's funny.
Once he got famous,
and people in the ghetto, they're not going anywhere because they support crap like that. They got to walk like they're tough. They got to act like they're tough. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
You better.
Why? Why do you have to do that? You don't have to do that. Tough guys don't do that. Real tough guys.
No, you've been to school, right? You've been to school, right? What happens when you're an easy target?
All of those guys that act tough deep down inside, they're cowards. You catch them by themselves, straight cowards. This is what they are. All of these guys, you look at all of them, all of these rappers that trying to act tough, catch them by themselves without a weapon.
No, that's true. That's true. They'd be trying to, yeah. So I'm saying you personally, you need to be tough.
Boil it down.
Be able to handle
the common denominator, right? And we start.
Do you have to be tough? Yes or no?
They are nothing.
I think you have to be smart. I think you have to be smart, not tough. Tough is
smart and tough.
And being smart,
tough meaning that,
like I said, being smart is avoiding the stuff. This is why I say I'm not trying to go to the store that's local. I'm going to the other one. I remember people used to say, "Why don't you just go to store?" I'm not going over there. Somebody got stabbed to death.
Okay, what if the guy spits you in your face right there?
You're gonna have to do something to defend yourself.
Well, what if he's got a huge gang behind him and you know he's going to cost your life? You better
no gang. Let's make it normal. Like you went to
7-Eleven. Where are you at? All right, if you're going to a place that's stuff.
A 7-Eleven. You're going to 7-Eleven. You're getting gas.
I don't go to 7-Eleven.
Okay, you're going to the gas station and you're going to go pick up something inside the little store, or whatever.
There's certain gas stations, right? Look, there's certain gas stations that I don't go to.
Yeah, exactly. That's being smart.
Exactly. When I look at I say to myself, you know what? I'll pay a couple of cents more to go to a gas station because so much stuff happens at gas stations. Now, I used to go to those gas stations and I would see stuff happen. If I can avoid them, I'm going to avoid it. And that's taking the high road. That's saying, you know what, man? I don't want to be around that.
You go to the gas station, you're going into the store, and then some guy comes up behind you and grabs your wallet, like pulls it out of your pocket or something like that.
If he tries to come near me, see, this is why you got to be aware. You're not walking in there like Humpty Dumpty Doo-doo-doo. You're looking. You're saying, okay, when you open the door or even before, you're seeing, is somebody walking behind me? Is somebody in the store? If you're that unaware, well, then you deserve to get got. You know,
he's a professional pickpocket guy. He's coming out of the store. You're going in, and he swipes you, and you feel it. But he does it, really cleanly. But
you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at what Timbo's saying here. Yeah, because Tretch, he's saying, and Tretch too. They say if you're not from the ghetto, don't come to the ghetto because you wouldn't understand it. People want to try to get out of the ghetto. LA, like West Coast rappers, they said it best. East Coast rappers have a stupidity about them. That they're easy to be manipulated and act like, oh no, I'm not manipulated. When they stay in the ghetto, they stay in the garbage bag.
Remember C Murder's brother?
Who?
C Murder, his brother. He got a penthouse in a project. Do you remember him? The brother of C Murder.
Yeah, no, I remember the name C Murder, but yeah, I don't remember
his brother got a penthouse in the projects because he wanted to be in the projects.
It's crazy. The rappers from LA and the East and the West Coast, they would say, they have interviews. They're like Ice-T, and they're like, why would you want to stay in the ghetto? Would you want your mother to stay in the ghetto? You would obviously want to move out. At least they had a little more sense to be like, yeah, man, you want to move out of the ghetto when you got money. The only reason you're in the ghetto is because you can't afford to move out.
Yes.
But if you can afford to move out and you stay there, that is like the epitome of being stupid. To say, wait, so you can get away from a place where people's getting killed and all of that stuff, or anything can happen, but you want to stay there? Well, the institutionalization worked. You've been institutionalized. You're ghettoized, and you're gonna sing. You're basically worshiping the cage that you were put in. Now you're saying no, I can leave. No, I don't want to leave. The cage door's open. Nah, man. I'm proud of this. I'm all. I mean, and then they'll sing about it. They'll make songs about it. They'll do it, and then other people, other zombies.
Well,
will
Tupac made songs, but through poetry, he made the lyrics for the rap songs. He got with the right people, and that came out like gospel type of stuff.
Brainwashed by it, man. None of these rappers that have ever did anything good. When people tell me about positive, there's no such thing as positive rap. I grew up seeing rap. Everything is bravado. I'm tough. What other music genre do you have the musician?
Okay, what rapper do you know in history?
What other music genre do you have musicians killing each other? You don't see it even in rock and roll with those degenerates. I mean, rock and roll is like, like a black guy running around calling himself a thug is like
because it's from the streets, man. Of course,
calling himself a dirty white boy, and that's the persona that rock and roll would give. The dirty, and the song basically is "Dirty White Boy." Well, imagine a guy. I heard guys say that in the '80s. And they be singing it. They're a dirty white boy.
That's what the whole punk movement. That's what the punk movement is about. The punk movement was against the government, against all the dumb stuff that that we talk about.
Against it in that way. The punk movement, what it's doing is they're rebelling.
But it wasn't anywhere near what Tupac did.
They were rebelling against themselves. And what happened to them? What happened to the punk movement?
Dude, the white dudes like breaking the law, dumb stuff like that, or the wall or something.
What did Sid Vicious do? Didn't he kill his girlfriend? Didn't he die from a heroin overdose? Same thing like the rock stars, same thing like the pop, same thing like the rapper.
Yeah, he's showing you what this world is
they're showing you that when you get into this stuff, it's a form of mind control that makes you think you're rebelling, but you end up, it's self-destruction. Just like when they came out with that song, Self-Destruct, words have power. That whole song was meant to destroy you. Because they're not saying to something different. They're saying you're headed for self-destruction. Why would you sing and chant a mantra that says that? Only because if you're ignorant and stupid. That's the only reason. When people have told me this that have gotten out of family members that were Ku Klux Klan members in California. There's the biggest, I think, trailer park called Paradise, right? One guy came from it. He goes, it's all based on stupidity. And he was a smart guy, very smart with computers. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, it's all based on stupidity, just like the ghetto. It's based on stupidity. You can't act intelligent in the ghetto, or don't act intelligent. Only way you can act intelligent in the ghetto is if you're hating white people. Oh, look at what they did. Well, look at what they did. That's the only way. And that's not acting intelligent.
Tupac did not do that. He didn't hit the white people.
Tupac did the same
that's
shit.
The difference. He went from you spoke a lot earlier, man. Let me say something. I'm saying he skipped that. He skipped that part, the white devil and stuff. He went from that to the Illuminati. He went to the roots of the problem. It's like there is a group out here that is enslaving even white people. They're not even on the top like we thought they were. There's another group over here that's doing this stuff, and they've been around for way longer than we know, and they're probably not even human. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna at least get my word out, and if they take me out, cool.
Was this before or after he sodomized the girl in the club?
You see, you always with that, man. And it's like
you don't think they can set people up.
You don't think they can set people up, right? They can't set you up. They can't send a girl to your room and you do something, right? Like Michael Jackson, they sent a kid.
That's like saying Tupac wore tutu and did ballerina. Come on, man.
Tupac.
This is your logical argument. This is great because in a real debate, if that's how you guys answer, then you would automatically lose right there. Because that's where
debate? What are we debating? That's what I'm saying. I mean,
someone who did something so miraculous, you don't even understand. You don't even understand.
It's kind of like
it's hilarious. And it happens to be a black guy, and you fight for these people. And it's like, wow.
Timbo's got a good point. It's like when you go to certain ghetto, you don't want to go to the ghetto, man. I mean, the ghetto it's horrible.
Who said Tupac wanted to stay in the ghetto?
Holy smokes. He stayed in the ghetto mentally, and he brought everybody else down with him mentally.
Because he was trying to fix that.
You have a ghetto mentality, man. I can't believe it. You are ghetto. Look at what Eminem did. He destroyed.
You know what the Thug Life movement was? You don't even know. Thug Life movement, I looked up again, was strictly for black on black. Listen, black on black crime. To stop that.
And it definitely stopped that, right? So let's look at the effect now. It has gotten worse.
Yeah.
Since Tupac has made his records, and those records are still alive. So what he did was make it worse, basically. Because you live in that thug
it would be worse now.
Look at Eminem. What did Eminem do? Eminem. Jake said he used.
Okay, you want to talk about someone that did something that brought someone no one's bringing up? What about Brandon's Got a Baby? Who's brought up kids, babies being thrown in the trash by the mothers? Who has brought that up? Give me an example. I'm waiting.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Show me anyone else. Politician, president, anybody.
You heard what Mr. X said, right?
Who gives a crap about a child
way back when, way before Tupac
being thrown into a freaking garbage.
Did you hear what Mr. X just said? He said Sugar Hill Gang did. Do you know when the Sugar Hill Gang came out?
What did they say?
Holy smokes, man!
It's the song "New York, New York, Big City of Dreams." You remember that?
No. That was.
What did they say?
No. That wasn't Sugar Hill. That was Melly Mel and the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash.
No. These guys were talking about the ghetto. It was called A Message. That was the song, and he started with saying, "A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind." Now, to listen to all of that, you don't need to listen to that.
That is nothing in comparison.
No.
He used the real case.
Even them, they conditioned people to do drugs when they try to do it under the disguise, just like Tupac. Oh no, we're helping people. White lines. Well, if anybody listens to that song, White Lines, they might want to actually do the drug. Instead of, they're like white lines flowing through your mind, and it's like, it's got a groove to it, but it's like, wait a minute, why would you be singing about that? And then you try to say, don't do it. It's like, no, they already are infatuated with it because you've created a catchy tune with it, something of a phenomena, telling your body to come along. But white lines, it's horrible. When you think about it, it's a catchy tune. And what came out a month and a half after White Lines? Scarface. Ta-da! Yeah. And that was a commercial to sell cocaine. Scarface, I remember seeing that when I was a kid. My cousin Dave brought me. I said, man, these guys were trying to turn me into a drug dealer or a killer or something. And it's like, so you got White Lines, then you got a Scarface, and then you got all this other stuff with crack and coke just flooding into the communities. Yeah. And it makes you wonder that a decade before that, when people were saying, oh, we were too young to know, we found out as we got older that, so they flooded communities with heroin before that. And that was more than a decade. This is why Nat King Cole's daughter was a heroin addict. You had Jimi Hendrix, all these rock stars. What did it push? It pushed that rebellious, do drugs, and now you're done once you get hooked.
Again, what does that have to do with Tupac? I mean,
because Tupac pushed that lifestyle. He pushed that selling drug, killing each other, going to jail lifestyle. He didn't say.
So you must have misread. He's saying don't do these things, and you're saying he is saying
you can't say don't do that and then say do it.
It's in the lyrics of the song.
The majority of his songs were detrimental. We had looked that up a while ago, and you tend to forget that.
Yes, he has some gangster songs that he has.
No. He doesn't have some. The majority.
A lot of his songs also are.
You see how you tried to. You see how you tried to switch it.
Dude, that's the persona they want him to play. But at the same
Jake
time,
is right. Jake, you're so. It's like again, he's talking about it. He compared Tupac to Captain John Brown and Harriet Tubman. It's insane. It's insane at this point.
Okay, Jake should understand this. Is it there?
All right, address this, Scribe. Exorcism says Tupac was a Marxist, like the college students. Exactly, man. Exactly. Do you know what a Marxist is, Scribe? Okay.
I mean, are you serious? I mean, that.
What is it?
Okay, if you want to go into that, we can go into that. I mean,
well, he just left the comment. He made sense, and it just Azroon, do you know?
It's a piece of it. It's a piece of it.
Okay.
It's a part. I would say it's a piece of it.
It
he
ain't
went
good.
beyond that.
It ain't good though. Azroon, how you doing? You know, Azroon is in the hospital. I think. Are you still? You still in the hospital?
Yeah, I'm in the healthcare center. My treatment got over again at 1:30. I have to go for treatment. So some free time was there for me. So I thought I'll hop on and listen to what you're saying, MD.
Okay. Thanks for being here. Scribe is still. I can't believe it. I'm surprised Jay caught it, man. He's talking about Tupac again. It's just we're talking about gods and all that stuff, and I forgot how it came up. I think maybe I mentioned Captain John Brown, man, and
that's what triggered it. That's what triggered it. Okay, so it says here, Marxism is someone who views the world through the lens of the class. Look, Marxism is someone who views the world through the lens of a class struggle, which you talk about all the time when you say, well, this white dude.
Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Karl Marx.
Marx, yeah.
Look up Karl Marx. So look up Karl Marx.
Right. So basically this whole thing.
Children died. Didn't they starve to death?
I don't know about that, but his views are the same as what people would say. There's a bigger group that's controlling this.
I'll tell you what. I tell you what. Type in the detriments of Marxism.
Yes.
Because that'll tell you.
Again. So if you want to look that up, then again you're being hypocritical.
No, what am I being hypocritical? How am I being hypocritical? I'm teaching you.
Because I'm saying Marxism is based on a struggle on a certain class.
Look up the detriments or the problems with Marxism. That's better. You can understand that. You got to start working on your definitions and your vocabulary, bro.
The detrimentalism of that is having a group which puts you on a side, just like Democrat, Republican.
No, just look up the problems with Marxism. That might be better. You might get some answers.
Why don't you tell me if you think that you know?
I'm just saying, look it up. It's gonna bring stuff up that probably is better to explain it to you. You already looked up the other thing. All you gotta do is type it in. What do you got, Azron?
No, you wanted to ask a question, MD. Like, you wanted to ask me any question
about what?
I just thought you might have had a question in your mind, and like you were going to say something, and then like it got a bit.
I was just seeing how you were. I'm glad you're okay. We're just trying to figure out. I mean, Scribe, it's good that now he's learning about Marxism, but also you have to learn about what's wrong with it. It's like communism, socialism, other things, I mean, you just,
Well, they sell them a nice dream. They sell them a nice dream, but it never works out in reality.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timbo.
Yeah, it really, did you get it, Scribe? Or?
Okay, I just pasted it in the chat.
No, we're not asking you to paste it, man.
No, you asked for this, so.
We're not asking you to paste this. Oh my goodness.
It says the incentive, the problem. The most common critique is that if you would remove the ability to gain individual wealth, you kill the drive to innovate or work hard. That's the main problem with Marxism. Do you believe that's true?
Oh my goodness, man. It's like
so you asked me to do something, and then when I post it,
why can you see? And this is where you lose the ability to discern certain things. You got to figure out, like, okay, it's like I told you before with the Captain John Brown thing. You're not going to learn that in 10, 20 minutes. You're not going to learn it on a live stream.
And you're not going to learn about Tupac in 10 or 20 minutes. You see where it is.
Holy, like I'm willing.
I'm willing to do a deep dive.
I'm going to read Tupac.
I'm willing to do a deep dive on Captain John Brown. You're not willing to do a deep dive on Tupac. That's why I won't do it.
It's in the book, right?
It has to be an equal effort on both sides to bring the truth. If you're not willing to do that, that means Tupac might win. So that's your hesitation.
It's not about winning. It's about learning, man.
It's about learning the truth.
I've done streams about the detriment of rap music. And Tupac is in there with the rest of them.
He just happens to be a rapper.
No, he destroyed community just the way Eminem destroyed the white community with rap. Tupac destroyed the black.
I agree with that part because he didn't do nothing.
Well, You can't see that Tupac is just Eminem on the black side.
No, because Tupac went against what we call. He made us aware of the Illuminati before it was even a term.
Wow.
We didn't know about Illuminati
What?
until after
That's a
9/11.
lie. That's a lie. That's a blatant lie right there.
Okay, so no, okay, rephrase. The majority of people, the mainstream, didn't know about this until after 9/11.
The
which
rap
was a decade after he passed.
No, plenty of people knew about the Illuminati, but maybe not the rap crowd. If you're talking about
Plenty
that.
of people learned about Illuminati in the early 90s. Is that you sure about that?
Yes, yes, there was books written about it.
No,
there
well,
were
dude,
books written about it. You can look it up.
It was mainstream.
He ain't gonna
As in
listen.
everyone
Fritz
knew
Meyer.
this?
Fritz Meyer was his name. He wrote a book
No
on the
one
Illuminati.
knew who Fritz Meyer was, dude. Nobody knows that guy.
I know that
That
you're
guy
talking about
is-
the non-reading crowd, the uneducated crowd. I'm talking
You're
about people.
talking about a minority of minorities that knew who Fritz Meyer was. Fritz
You
Springmeyer.
need to go to a library to know, Scribe. This is what we're trying
Don't
to
be
tell
telling
you.
me that library. You go to the library. I'm
I
telling
do
him
go to the
that that's a
library, man.
small minority, and he's
You're
claiming that the
talking about
majority
the
of people
people
knew
that didn't
who
go
that
to the
was.
library, never read books.
Yeah, but
It was like, oh, Illuminati. Now I get it.
Yeah, we're showing you that it was around and it was known way before that. But with the
Yes, but by a minority.
all right, look,
not
so
listening.
you can learn. All right, so you can learn, right? Marxism with Tupac and all of that, like how Exorcism was saying with he's a fake revolutionary, totally fake revolutionary, and
that's why it's
I'll show you why. I'll show you why when he says he's a Marxism, like a lot of college kids that are lost, is part of Marxism, right? The absence of market signals. If you abolish private property and market mechanisms, central planning lacks the price mechanisms needed to allocate resources. You need, and we don't have this, you need fair competition without monopolies, because if you have competing markets, now you get
he
better
had nothing to do with, again, you want someone
better
to label
products at a lower price.
Dude.
Because if you're making something and I'm making something, it forces the other person. But we don't have that even today. We have it's just corruption.
We don't have a true capitalist society. We don't.
It's not even
we're not talking about
you know why it's not capitalism?
economy.
Because when banks got to get bailed out, that's not capitalism. That's
absolutely 100%. Goldman Sachs got a huge bailout.
Yeah,
and made money on it.
Yeah, we live in something that is just like it's whatever it is. It's a dictatorship disguised as an illusion of freedom.
Yes. And two-party dictatorship is what it is.
And these kids listening to,
and that's what Tupac died for.
No, what he? Oh my goodness, I can't.
No, he died for the kids who couldn't read. That's what he died.
It just,
he gave you knowledge of something that you didn't know about 10 years before it came out.
He didn't give me. You know what he showed me? He showed me never to listen to rap music. That it's not good to listen. Like, he showed me how it can destroy generations.
Yeah,
that's what it showed.
I agree with that.
And that's what he. Okay, so you're seeing that it's not good for people to.
He
listen.
just happened to be involved with that. Okay. The most unlikely person.
Man, the music,
out of that.
the tones, the beat, it's all orchestrated to calm the savage beast, man.
Okay, I agree with all those things, but at some point he turned and said, "Look, I'm going to let the people know at the cost of my own life. Use my notoriety, use my fame.
Fritz Meyer wrote
I don't care about my money. You're gonna take me out. Go ahead." And he wrote that in his songs, bro. He wrote this in his songs before he actually went out.
So what? He didn't say anything detailed about it. He just said
letting his mom know. Don't worry about it. Your baby's all good.
What good is it saying the name if you don't describe what it is?
Multiple songs he did this, okay?
But he didn't describe what it was.
Anyone that's this aware. And he says
he didn't even know what the hell it was. He just knew the name.
And he says and then in the song he says, "These guys fear me. They talk shit about me, but because they fear me in the physical form." Again,
that's exposing him. They're talking shit about me. Are you serious? That's why they killed him.
After he's already gone, because he's going after a bigger opposition of these guys.
So you think the heads of the elites of the world said Tupac's saying we're talking shit, so we got to get rid of him? You really believe that?
The media and the people who are in the gangster stuff have no clue what the Illuminati is. So he's fighting a war that no one even knows about.
The Illuminati was scared of Tupac saying,
and they think they're talking about gangster bullshit. Meanwhile, he's talking about the Illuminati stuff, and that's
he's a fake revolutionary. I think Azraroon had something, man.
Yeah, MD, I've read the Bloodlines of the Illuminati written by Fritz Springmeier.
Thank
He's
you.
got a lot of things wrong in that, actually. Like, regarding the Rothschild family, he said that they funded both sides of the war and they made money, and they're bankers. They didn't fund both sides of the war, MD. Like, they were on the side of the British. What they did was actually, like, they were they were investing heavily in gold bonds and collecting the money in gold, actually, after buying a lot of gold treasury bonds. And then, like, they were in charge of distributing, I mean, safely transporting it all across the places where the war was taking place, between Wellington and the Napoleon's army, and they would pay them in gold. So Nathan Rothschild, like the way Fritz Springmeier has given that he'll make his money by funding both sides, that was wrong. Nathan
But hold up,
Rothschild, what he did,
who funded them? Who funded in Germany? Who funded the Russians? Who funded them? Somebody had to fund them.
in Germany, I think the Kaiser actually funded this Lenin to overthrow
think?
the.
Nah.
Yeah, he
Germany
funded Lenin.
Germany was broke after World War One. They were broke. They were burning Deutschmarks. They had to
Yeah,
get funding somewhere. No army did anything without funding. They all needed access to capital in order to start
yeah,
a
but the thing is, by the 20th century, the Rothschilds had gone off. They were no longer predominantly powerful. Like, they were rich, but they'd made a lot of. Yeah, they had made a lot of money.
Who told you that they weren't prominent? Who's saying that?
No, I read about it. A historian has actually, he's done. His name is Neil Ferguson. He studied about the Rothschilds in detail. He
All
said
right.
that by the 20th century, their finances had come down, and
Okay,
some
now
Rothschilds were.
How can we check to see if that's true?
Yeah, go and the Descent of Money. Go and check it where he talks about how the Rothschilds actually
all right.
acted.
He talks about it, right? He talks about it. How do we know that what he's saying is true? How do we know that these people aren't actually still very high up on the monetary scale and still funding stuff?
Exactly. We don't. We have no proof, nothing. It's all hearsay. We have no evidence at all.
One thing we can do is say, okay, there might be a way to check their finances or check things that's still supported by them. It's not going to be an easy task. And again, we're used to getting McDonald answers.
We got Azraroon right here, Wizard Master, right?
Yeah, but no, Azraroon.
We can ask him. Why don't we ask about Tupac? Read his thing, his chart, and see if he was for real or if he was BS. And let's let Azraroon, because I know Azraroon's own bias about this. About Tupac.
Right, if you really want that answer, I need Tupac's date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. Only then I can give the answer. Because, like, without that I can't give the answer. Like, I do the horoscope thing, yeah, that's true, but without these three exact details,
would that, okay, if we gave that information, would that prove if he was a fake or if he was actually doing it for real?
It would prove a lot of things about his character, and that would prove if he was a fake or if he was not a fake.
Okay, would you be okay with that, MD, if we did that? At least you'll hear that out.
I can't believe this. I cannot believe this.
You see, the thought just kills you. You see, you just hate this
guy. No, it's not even the thought. It's like you are looking, you're reaching for anything to try to make this guy seem
this
like...
This is like a polygraph, man. This is like a polygraph.
All we got to do is look... All right, all we got to do is look at what did he produce? He didn't produce good stuff. He produced music that got people to degrade themselves.
And again, you are stating things that are not fact, and it's your opinion.
That's not fact. So calling each other the N-word, calling each other the N... See, you just...
So what? You want him to be Mother Teresa and what? And what? I mean, how do you expect him to gain notoriety in that field, which the N-word is literally an essential tool you have to use?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's like saying, "Go be an oil dude," but I want you to do it without the gear to actually, you know. It's like, what do you? He's playing the part. He's just playing that part, and he detached himself and said, "Look, this is something much bigger here." To the point where he gave up his millions and his notoriety and all that for this. He saw something beyond the black and white, beyond the gang war, beyond the stupid rapper stuff, and said, "Look, there's something out here. It's called this, from what I hear." And it wasn't spoken about much at all during that time, but he put it to the mainstream where people, he literally named his album Kill Illuminati. I mean, come on, give the guy some credit.
All right, I'm checking it for you. And AI is going to be biased for him, because there was
Why would he? I'm putting him against Captain John Brown.
You can't put him against Captain John Brown. You can't put him
because
against
they should hold that
real people
automatically
like that.
way up. No, they should automatically put him higher because he was part of the
Oh
government.
my goodness, I can't even believe you're just gone, man. You're just gone.
It's credibility factor. If a government official versus a rapper, which one do you think they're gonna choose?
It just there's nothing to say. It's like you are brainwashed by Tupac, man.
You sound defeated. You sound defeated. It's all right.
It's not defeated.
It's recent history. Why do you want? We should be rooting for.
Why
this
didn't
guy.
he rap about him sodomizing the girl in the club? He don't want to rap about that though, right? He talk about reality, but he don't talk about that reality, right?
Your mind is just again, so nobody can be set up. Nobody could be.
He can't rap about it though, right? He wants to rap about. This is the thing when rappers say, "Oh, we rap about our environment." Africa Bambaataa.
About that could be used against you.
The whole thing has been something.
He's smart. He's ain't dumb about that.
Low. I mean, you really, and you even think this guy is like deep in the closet, bro. He is one of them.
Yeah, and even if the Rothschilds aren't prominent anymore, they just changed the name. Look at Goldman Sachs. You think they're not involved in that some way, somehow? It's all the same.
And even before Tupac, the people in the moguls in the music industry had already established the rap to prison pipeline.
Yeah, exactly. It all ties in together. It all ties in together.
I mean, you have the NWA and them tried to come out and say that, but I would go back even further. You look at the whole scandal with Africa Bambaataa from the late 70s. The whole thing was created to destroy people, just the way rock music was created to destroy people.
Yeah, they always need an underclass. That's the key.
I mean, it sounds crazy when somebody, oh man, that music is, but it's real because you say, okay, what does it produce? It wastes your most valuable commodity, your time. You sit there. I've listened to stuff on rap and rock, and I realize, I say, man, even the political rock and heavy metal wasn't, it's like, what am I getting from that? And it's catchy. What gets you is the beat, the vibe. That's what opens you up. That's what gets you to listen to it. There was a channel, and these guys are very religious. I don't agree with their religious thing, but they made a good point. He goes, you got these songs that are being played for the last 40 years, 50 years. And sometimes they sound pretty good. He goes, but this is a type of mental conditioning with the Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles and all of that stuff. I remember people would talk about that a lot in the 80s. I'm like, I don't like either one. I don't like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. Now, the Rolling Stones might have a few songs that are catchy, and that if you can catch yourself, you say, whoa, that's how they get me. Because those little tunes and those jingles, those are all forms of mental programming. This is how evil, the stuff that is meant to destroy you is going to come as all of the stuff you ever wanted it to be. Anything you ever wanted, it's going to roll out the red carpet for you. You say, hey, the best of intentions. And you're going to be like, no, this is a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You got people following that whole lifestyle that Tupac did. The same thing with Eminem. When he raps, he says it in the song. Don't you want to be just like me? What, a guy that hates his own mother, hates the woman that bore his child, just a hateful guy. That's all he rapped about. And a drug addict. How many white kids got strung out on pills because they wanted to be just like him? And he's saying it in the songs. Don't you want to be just like a drug addict, like a pillhead?
That's what they were promoting, your drugs, really, if you think about it.
On the album cover, they made his CD had a screaming Xanax pill in cartoon. His album cover, The Recovery or whatever, they made a collage of his face with pills.
Yeah, that dude was designed to. Yeah, you already know.
Well, the same thing with the same thing.
Look what Tupac says here. God help me because I'm starving, can't get a job, so I resort to violent robberies. My life is hard.
You just
can't sleep because all my
there's
dirt makes my
nothing I
heart
could
hurt.
say.
You know what I'm saying? No one be saying these kind of things, man. This is the
Yeah,
reason
is
why
that
people
promoting
are
good
robbing, killing,
behavior?
doing dumb stuff.
Robbery? Get a job. How about a song about getting a job? Work 40
oh,
hours.
that
Look
would
what
be
it says
great.
right there.
That's
Look
a
what it
good
says,
one.
Mr. X. God help me because I'm starving, can't get a job, so I resort to
how about
violent robbery.
finding a way to get
in the U.S.?
Well, you know why
Come
he
on,
couldn't
man.
do that? Because he was too busy sodomizing women in a goddamn nightclub. What's he doing in a nightclub then? You really trying to get?
This is what he resorts to every time. We could be talking about flat Earth, and he comes back with this nightclub.
No, I'm giving you the real about it. You got a guy that's sodomizing a girl in a nightclub, singing about getting.
How do you know they didn't set him up again? You have this thing. Oh, it's 100%. It happened. All
He
that.
told people that in the song
He was able to prove that that didn't happen.
Look, nobody can set you up. Nobody can set you up if you're clean, because you're gonna be like, nah, I don't want.
He wasn't clean. He was marked.
He was dirty, and that's why he fell into it. Because if somebody says, "Hey, we want you to do this," if you're clean, you're gonna be like, "No, I ain't doing that, man."
You know who had a positive message? Remember Harold and the Blue Notes? Remember them?
Nah. How old were they?
Wake up, everybody! Wake up all the doctors. Wake up all the teachers. Remember that song? Wake up.
Oh,
Harold and the Blue Notes.
that what, like from a long time ago, before
That's
rap?
from the 1970s. It wasn't rap though. It wasn't rap, but it was 1970s. Or Melvin and the Blue Notes. Maybe it was Melvin and the Blue Notes. I know it was Blue Notes.
So you're Melvin.
Wake up, everybody! Give the old people a hand. Remember that?
Yeah, I think it is Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Yeah. They had a positive message.
I mean, some of them do, and you will.
It wasn't rap.
It wasn't
rap. It's more like rhythm and blues or something.
Yeah, you will have a few there. Let me see if it's got the lyrics on here.
Wake up, everybody! Melvin and the.
You want to talk about lyrics? Look at this. Look at this, real quick.
Oh my goodness!
What we just said. Look, it says because shit was hectic for me last year. It was hectic for me last year. It appears that I've been marked for death. My heartless breath, the underlying cause of my arrest. My life is stressed. Look at that.
That's a positive message. I got arrested and now I'm stressed out. That's a positive message.
He's been marked for death, as in he knows he's marked.
So yeah, by other rappers.
This is the underlying cause of his arrest.
You think the Illuminati killed him? It wasn't just other rappers?
Thank you for actually finally understanding what we've been talking about, Mr. X, because that's exactly the whole point. But you just lay it out there. But yes, that's the whole point, because his last album was called Kill Illuminati. So, and that's when, we're at that dot, taken out. And you think that's by chance?
Same thing with that.
When nobody knew what this was about, especially on a mainstream level, like Michael Jackson talking about that, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, you got to admit, Beat It was a good song.
No, Beat It wasn't good, man. If you look, one guy had a thing about that. All right. Now this is the negative stuff of the thug life stuff that Tupac, the glorification of violence and crime. So, despite Tupac's attempts to frame it as a philosophy of survival, thug life was widely interpreted by the public media and young people as a glorification of crime behavior and gang.
That's the problem.
No, and this is the thing. And this is the thing. If you think that you're doing something good, but you're not doing something good, you're still doing something bad, regardless if you think you're doing something good. You could be. That's the stupidity. That's the guy that drops the grenade. So
it was ideology. It's like architecture humanity. Hold on. It's like architecture humanity. You can say, look, hold on. Let me give you an example. So you could say the albino thing, the blue-eyed thing, and then someone could take that and interpret that. Oh, he's saying something that has nothing to do with what you said originally.
Mm-hmm.
Your original intent of your ideology or this new idea.
And if I'm not there, if I don't create fail-safe mechanisms,
that's what's going on here.
No, if I don't create anybody can listen to some.
I'm saying the media is twisting the thug life to say it's about violence.
But they can say, wait a minute, no, you're twisting it because I can listen to his streams, and he wasn't portraying it in that way, and he put fail-safe mechanisms.
And most people aren't going to listen and go back and listen. They're going to believe the bullshit.
No, they're going to
just like you when you believe,
you're not understand. See, you can't even. You got internal, external conflicts. The thug identity cultivated a dangerous lifestyle that often resulted in legal.
That's what the media twisted it to.
No, that's him. He was saying it, that if you don't do a bid and all of this shit and you don't sell, he says that in his lyrics.
Where?
He says that in his lyrics.
It's pasted like I did earlier. If you can't do that, then we know you're full of
shit.
It
includes internal fighting within his own circle, the Thug Life group, while Tupac was incarcerated. And then it opens the door, like you said, for media misinterpretation. And this is why he has to be there to speak out to other people. Nothing, because he served his purpose. The loss of life and personal safety. Thug Life, with its emphasis on defiance and the street game, it contributed to high-stakes confrontations culminating in fatal results, including Tupac's own death. So when you look at that, it's like, what did it lead to? The contribution to social disruption. Critics argue that Thug Life image promoted the lifestyle that brought self-destruction. Like I said, turf warfare. Instead of saying,
of course, that's the demonization. When they want to take over a country, they demonize the prime minister or whoever that is.
Man. Negative role models, right? And this was community members talked about this. They believed that Thug Life normalized dangerous, antisocial attitudes for the youth, acting as harmful influence rather than an empowering one. So
that's the same thing as they're telling you it's Bin Laden and you know who it is. You see?
MD?
Yeah, what's up, Azra?
The doctor has called me, so thank you for having me on your show. I need to go now, MD.
Thanks, man.
Bye, Scribe. Bye, Mr. X. Bye.
All right, Ezra, if you got time, check out his horoscope.
Feel better, man. Feel better.
Okay.
Yeah. Have a good one, Ezra. Wish everything's going well.
Concentrate on
thank you, Mr. X. Bye.
Okay. Take care. Yeah, Azraroon is healing, so it just I mean, I've expressed all of the stuff, the detrimental effects. I don't know what, there's nothing more to really say. You're under the spell of Tupac, just the way people are under the spell of Eminem, under the spell of Post Malone and all these other guys. It's a spell that they cast on people with the music. These are wizards and warlocks and witches that cast these spells to control.
Where do you see these lyrics anywhere else? Again, I'm sorry. I mean, when you say
this, keeping your pants down.
The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the lyrics. When did he write them?
To talk to him about that, and he literally is on camera telling them that, oh yeah, their daddy wears their pants up by their waist, but they follow him wearing their pants down. And they're like, look, could you set a better example? And these are black mothers speaking with him. You can find the videos on YouTube. But it's like you don't
look his personal preference of style.
He never said preference of style. In a suit and tie.
It's like telling you if you like a certain style, don't do that because I don't want my kid doing that. What are you gonna do?
You're not gonna. If you're an influence to kids, you have to portray yourself with a better image because kids are going to follow you. It's your responsibility at that point. You're dealing with an irresponsible person who's a monster that destroyed his own community. Till today,
they told
you got guys that weren't even born that still worship Tupac the way you do. That should tell you right there the mind control, Wavy, Why Though, and all these guys that listen to this guy. And, you know, it's like, it's insane when I think about that, man. It's insane.
Your lack of understanding doesn't change my opinion because I know you haven't delved into
that. That's what you want. I don't think.
And the fact it happens to be a man of color should bring that to even more
so now
over microscope.
There we go.
This is why young
So
bros.
you preach all that shit earlier and all that, and then now we talk about some guy who does fit that.
Timbo's right.
You know,
Timbo's right.
He's evil.
Got to be thugs to get women. Exactly, man.
Yep.
Exactly, Timbo. Yep. It just, and it teaches them. It's really sad, man. It's really sad. I remember guys dressing up, imitating what's that guy? Turned Down for What? I forgot his name. Little John or something like that. It's crazy.
Lil Wayne or Lil Jon?
No. It's the dude. I think it was Lil Jon. Turned Down for What? Another character wearing clown gear and the whole sunglasses and these are uniforms. Yeah. These aren't, oh, that's the way he dresses. These are uniforms to program the youth, just like the hippies. When Frank Zappa told the hippies, look, you're all wearing uniforms, man. You don't even realize there's no.
The biggest one, the little Wayne brought in the face tats. And I've seen dudes with all the face tats. I mean, that right there is.
How are you going to get a good paying job with all the face tats?
It's such a disrespect to your body, and the fact that you would do that and basically, just degrade yourself is unbelievable. They're saying this is the image we want you to pay millions of dollars to. That's famous, with a dude with a bunch of face tats. It's exactly how you get a job. How's anyone going to look at you?
Tell you what, if you got to choose,
that's
all right. I would rather hire somebody with face tats that talks respectable and wears their clothes respectable than somebody without tattoos that constantly says the N-word and wears their pants hanging down. So if I'm an employer and two people come in, I would say yes. I'm employing the guy with the face tats because he knows how to conduct himself.
No, you can't do that because that's discrimination.
No, I'm saying I can choose. It's not discrimination. It's saying that's borderline racism. I choose who I want to hire. So I'm saying this guy cannot control himself. He's a negative influence. He's constantly calling himself and others the N-word. He wears his pants hanging down, which is indecent exposure.
Yep.
And he's violent. The other guy has these tattoos and might look stereotypical, but he speaks proper English. He wears his pants around his waist. He doesn't threaten people. He doesn't act intimidating. I would hire that guy, not the guy like Tupac.
You see, you're discriminatory. What if that homeless guy? What if that homeless guy that asks you for pocket change and you ignore him? He happened to be Jesus Christ.
You didn't hear anything I said, man.
I'm saying, what if that homeless guy that you have all these preconceived notions and stereotypical
it's not a homeless
ideas
I'm talking about.
What if that guy's rich or a billionaire and he's pretending to be poor?
Just don't get it, man. I'm talking about two guys that come in for employment in my company, and I'm saying, okay, let me look at they both got the same skills, and now let me decide which one that I will choose. Now it's going to come down to how they act. It's always going to act.
What if the guy with the pants is a genius?
They're both the same skill level.
No, I'm saying, what if he happens to have, but his low side?
You can. All right, if you want to put it into those parameters, you can be some of the smartest people in the world. If you don't conduct yourself right, people ain't gonna hire you, man. It's the same thing with Hollywood and all of this. If you don't want to get along with people, it don't matter how much skill you got. They'll take somebody with less skill. You have to know how to conduct yourself, man, especially if you're going to be influencing younger people. People are going to take an example of that and say, regardless if you know it or not, they're going to follow you. And so it's your responsibility. What I see with rappers is irresponsible, dangerous, detrimental behavior disguised as if it's good. Oh, no, this is positive rap. There's no positive rap, rock, pop, punk, anything like that. It's all meant to control your mind.
Do you think the murder rate has anything to do with it? Also, the high murder rate, when you look at it by race,
it's like 51% of rappers with homicide.
Yeah, but in general, the communities in general.
Death metal has like a 19-20% suicide rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then people say, "Oh, well, that's just propaganda." No, you listen to stuff like that, and it's going to put you in a high depression mode.
Sure.
pop music, when they listen to pop music, it's Fantasy Island, and it brings people up and they drop. You think about it.
I actually disagree with that.
It doesn't matter if you disagree.
These things can be but they're also can be left to be decoded.
Your opinion.
They can be decoded to unlock something.
Let me show you how rock and rap destroy people. When people listen to rap, oh, now they want to be a rapper. Rock, they're buying a drum set, a guitar, right? You don't see people doing that with classical music. They don't listen to I don't listen to Bach and Mozart and Beethoven and say, man, you know what? I want to get a piano and start,
Why not?
I'm happy listening to to what it is. And even that, you can listen to that and you can study. You can do stuff with that in the background. You can't do stuff with this thug life crap or rock music blaring in the background. You can't, because it's meant to make you involuntarily move.
That's a side you're never going to stand. But that part you're talking about is true, because the guy Cliff Burton, the original bassist from Metallica, he studied contemporary music. He was the only guy who studied classical music. He's the only one, so that's why they gravitated him. That's why all those tunes you heard from Kill 'Em All, Master of Puppets was the best. What? So you're telling me the Metallica is also what was trash? What?
Yeah, it's detrimental to a person's mental.
You know that it's based on classical music?
It's detrimental to a
classical music.
It's not. They could try to call it what they want. It's garbage, banging on metal instruments. That's what it is. It's catchy tunes. It can, and that's how they open you up.
It's a rhythm.
The beat. It's catchy. Every day I'm hustling. It's like, wait a minute, you don't even hustle. Oh, but now you want to hustle because you listen to this fake guy talking about hustling. And I remember guys would go, "Oh man, it's the beat." It's the.
But what if I did use that and I started making millions of dollars?
I don't even.
See, you don't look at the different. They would call it a. What's the word? Damn it! What's the word? When you take something that's not real.
What to say? What do they call it? It's over. You're done. You're always Tupac, and you're Tupac self.
Placebo. When you take a placebo, you think that's what it is, and your body and your mind think it's what it is, but it's actually not. It's actually like a tablet or some other thing that has nothing to do. It's not going to affect you, but you believe that's what it is, and somehow you manifest this in your mind, and somehow I don't know, right? But people have a placebo.
Described. None of this has really happened. It's more been detrimental than positive. That's the overwhelming what the data would show. It has been positive for the community.
So if it was detrimental, it would not be going on to this day. This guy
the
died
homicide
in
rate is the highest in the black communities. It's the highest statistically. So how's that positive?
So if I were to tell you he's the reason why I even got into the truth space, because I learned about Illuminati and learned that there's something outside of this.
But most people didn't do that.
No, but MD wants to say no. He contributed to all the crime and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, he played a part, but at some point he had to get out of that, and people saw that, and they realized, okay, this is something special, and then they took him out. So, and that happened in recent history, and people don't want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, but the whole industry has been detrimental to the youth. It gives the wrong message. Especially nowadays with technology and the
that's what I'm saying. It's okay.
You're going to get caught.
Okay. So if you had to play a part in something, knowing it's detrimental, but at some point you decide, you know what, I'm going to disrupt the apple cart. I'm just going to do a 180, and I'm tied to all these contracts. I'm going to break every contract. And I'm going to stop making millions of dollars, and I'm going to make myself a target.
Did he ever do that?
That's what he did. That's why he was taken out.
He just said he was going to do it, but he never actually did it.
Well, that's what the album was. The album was
the album that he's making money on. He never actually did it.
No, but the name he put on it was like saying, "I'm going to expose you. Go ahead and take me out."
Yeah, to sell the album. It's marketing. That's all it is. It's not real revolution.
Well, he didn't get a chance because they took him out right before it came out. So they knew it was coming out.
Let a revolution, or would he most likely just produce more albums? Yeah.
The problem is it was like a disruption in the matrix to where that knowledge should not have been released until after like 9/11, when it was normally released
Said
after we have
knowledge to
the
who?
internet.
Because the knowledge had already been released, but you're talking about a certain group of people or something that didn't know about it. We already confirmed that the knowledge was already
he pretty much got taken out like when the internet first came out. So there wasn't a fast global way of disseminating information. But since he was already a massive superstar, he could disseminate that information to millions
You
of
can find
people.
plenty of videos on the Illuminati on YouTube. It's all over the place.
That's what I'm saying. This is in the mid '90s. You understand that the internet just came out.
I understand that
no
in the
YouTube.
70s, John
There was none of that. There was no YouTube. None of that. Okay, it was basic websites.
It was already discussed long before them.
Enclosed structures or minimum.
No,
the minority of the people.
Books.
Minority of the people knew about it, Mr. X. Not the masses of people. Remember, Tupac
was available for the masses. It was available information for the masses. It wasn't hidden somewhere.
Only a tiny percentage would even know about it, is what I'm saying.
Because they didn't read books. That's why. The books were there. They didn't want to read them.
Look, all this stuff exists. To say it's someone took.
But you're acting like it was some secret code that nobody could get to. No, it was right there. You could buy it at a store. You could buy Fritz Meyer's book at the store. You could listen to John.
I understand that, Mr. X, but you have to be aware of that, and the majority of the people were not aware that even existed.
There was a show called The Prophecy Club that had videos all the time about the Illuminati.
Okay, no one knows what that is. When I say Tupac, I'm talking about Michael Jackson level. Okay, literally. Everyone knows this guy.
People that don't do research or have any interest in that. That's what I'm saying. They just have interest in rap or whatever, in nice shoes or whatever.
I know, but we witnessed something that had nothing to do with the rap part. He happened to be a rapper. These things happen, and we go back and look at the evidence of what led up to that. We realized, damn, this dude decided to, because he knew the gang war stuff, all that stuff was going on, but he realized there was something beyond that, and we need to deal with the root of the problem, even if we have to die for it. And that was the message. And that's the whole thing with Christ on the cross and all that. And that's why he put that on the album cover. And it's like, look, he did it. He talked the talk. He walked the walk. He didn't bullshit around. He just did it, and it happened. He died very young. You know, he was only not even 25. He was like, yeah.
He just you Tupac cell, man.
What did you do at 25? What did you do at 25 that you could have conquered that much during that time?
He didn't conquer anything. Globally. He was a butt pirate.
He's known globally.
Establishment told him the truth.
I'm saying with a butt pirate, you see
that was it, man. When he was jumping around, dancing as a backup dancer for Digital Underground. You know, I mean, you don't go from a ballet dancer to a thug. You can go from a thug to a ballet dancer, but you don't do it the opposite way. You remember, you can't learn it in school, and you can't start late. So both of those things, he went.
Who's to say he wasn't that before he was a ballet dancer?
Nobody. You think they're gonna let some real guy become mainstream like that? That can never happen, man. You cannot trust. No entertainers,
they're not perfect.
No politicians, and no religious people.
Come on, you saw how sloppy 9/11 was.
You can't trust none of these people. All the celebrities are paid and bought for.
Yeah,
they will say whatever they're told to say to keep you under control. And you might think like, oh, it's great, it's revolution. No, it's not. The real revolutionaries, I told you, Captain John Brown, Harriet Tubman, George Washington Carver, Robert Ingersoll. You know, you have people that will say, look, you know what? I'm going to rebel. Even though Socrates and stuff did, at least he rocked it. He said, look, man, you know, just the fact that they charged him with corrupting the youth, that tells you that, man, we got to look into this guy because he might have been saying something real. Because that's how they keep us under control. They have
there are no revolutionaries. There are no revolutionaries, or else we would not be in this situation.
You don't want to believe that. When I show you real revolutionaries, you don't even know who they are.
Really? So if there was a real one, it would have made some real change.
John Brown and Harriet Tubman.
What did he change? What did he change?
You just, oh my goodness! I told you, you need to look it up. You need to think about it, read about it. You want me to feed you a McDonald's answer. you're not going to learn it that
No,
way.
AI already told me he somehow
Look,
freed the
AI
slaves.
told you. Oh my
He
God.
freed
You
the
don't want to go to the
slaves
library, right?
Santa Claus. Like Santa Claus brings you gifts. He freed the slaves. How
Wow.
much more general is that? He freed the
You
slaves.
don't
What does
want to
that
look
mean? All the
deeper than that,
slaves? Does
right?
that mean
Look,
part of
if
the
you don't
slaves?
want to look deeper than that, it's already shown me how they're conditioning people. Once they get your type of mentality, it's done. It's over.
done. Right.
Yeah, the rebellion is done, bro. The last people are Gen X. We are the last people. And then after that, the few people that are your generation and other, you ain't gonna have, they're not even gonna want to step foot in the library. They're not gonna want to do any research. They're gonna do just what you said. AI told me this, that's good enough. Well, if that's what it is,
Yeah, you're right. The majority are gonna
then it's over. It's over.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been over, man. What do you mean? It's like we just woke up and all of a sudden we had a chance? No, we never had a chance.
The whole time.
That's why we're here.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why so negative? But no, it's over.
Tupac,
I call it like I see it.
Tupac do, right?
It's not that it's over. It's always been over. But when someone actually tries to do something,
he tried to do something. Right.
Why do you have to hate on this brother?
The only thing you can do is survive. That's the only thing you can do.
I mean, a guy does something in the recent history, defies the powers that be, and you want to call this guy
what a real
guy. You write a book about Tupac.
See what I'm saying?
Why don't you write a book about him?
You write a song about him.
You're a hypocrite because you say, I don't believe this, but over here I'm going to believe this. You know, these guys wrote, I'm going to believe this part, right?
What would cherry pick do?
I'm going to say, I know nothing.
Get the sheets, man. Get the bed sheets, man.
When you said that we don't know, that's the best answer anyone could say. We don't know nothing about nothing. Even if you're there, and even if you witness it, you still know nothing.
Oh my goodness!
You pull your pants down when you walk around. Do you walk around like that with your pants down, underwear?
I mean, if I'm not wearing a belt or something, but I mean, no, that's not usually.
But
that has nothing. Again, you see how you guys try to pull me in that? I mean, that has nothing to do with this guy. Has nothing to do with him doing the ballerina.
If you really believe in Tupac, you put your pants down with the belt and your underwear will be showing.
So you want to judge a man's character by his style, and that's what he did.
You ain't true to the game, man. You ain't living the thug life, man.
He
living the thug life, that's right.
He created the game at that point.
I want to see you in a club with your pants down.
Because remember, he even says in his songs, "These little tiny dude, women would ignore him." He was basically an incel. Basically an incel. And it wasn't until he got money, all of a sudden he's cute.
It's all of a sudden to New York and hang on for a little bit.
Yeah, no, he can't. I can't.
He was a real MF. He was real about that. He said it.
Tell everybody else.
He said, "Look, I was an incel before this happened. It's true. Height and looks matter." He basically said that.
He didn't even like women. What are you talking about?
I can't even have a conversation because you're just with this.
It's like
you don't know he was sus.
Where's the you don't find that suspicious?
Why are you so worried about it, man? That has nothing to do with what he did.
No women around Tupac.
Okay, the guy. Okay, let's say he's gay. Let's say he's gay. The dude's 100% gay. Only likes dudes. Even then, what he did is what matters. His sexuality, is that really going to matter at this point? It's what someone does.
Yeah, because he's personified.
So you guys are discriminatory. You want to talk about racism? You're discriminatory based on someone's whatever.
You should have made gay songs.
So you are hypocritical. You're hypocritical by saying people are racist and at the same time being discriminatory on someone's sexual.
Throw it out there, man. Throw it out there.
Wasn't that in the bathtub with the bubble bath?
You guys with your double standard.
The bathtub, man. The bathtub. Don't make me find the pictures, man, of the bathtub. Just like,
hey, that was what was it? That was Rolling Stones. They're the ones doing all that. You already know.
He probably was like, "Look, I got an idea." Probably wasn't even their idea.
Yeah,
dude, it ain't
all
like
people are fake.
This is not like Eddie Murphy getting busted in an alleyway with a train.
Eddie Murphy.
That's what you're trying to compare that to.
Eddie Murphy had real talent.
Yeah, he was busted in an alleyway with a tranny. Ask him about that.
Well, yeah, but he was funny.
I don't even know.
Let's shut that down real quick. You see,
it's so
preferred thing. It's discriminatory.
Getting late, and Jake was right. We were talking about deep stuff.
I know we can't get deep, Scribe, with this garbage. We got to stop this. We can't get deep.
I can't believe
So
it. It's like
evolutionary is
you know what it
garbage,
is, man. I want you to heal, man. That's why I told you go to the library. You know, look up Captain John Brown. And
what do you want me to do in the library,
Scribe,
man?
I love you having you here, but honestly, you're like a block. Once you start getting deep, all of a sudden, Tupac. It's like no.
I'm
Yeah,
the oppressor. I'm the oppression. I've already told MD we need
You're
you
the
need
oppression to
opposition.
go for us getting
You
into
need
the real
opposition on the
conversation.
screen
Like
to make it
last
more.
night, I would have loved to hear more about MD's dream. You know what I mean? Because I'm into that. That's metaphysical. That's something. That's real life. That's something that affects us personally.
See, but you bring up Tupac, it's his kryptonite. He's like,
No,
oh
there
man,
you
he's
go.
gay.
There
He's
you
a
go.
blood
You set
pirate.
a
there you
wall.
go
up.
again.
Yeah.
And anything about learning, you bring up something that distracts from it.
But you allow Tupac to deter you from being logical.
Again.
I don't know, man. It
And then
just
your whole argument is
Wait a minute. You guys are thinking
danced
too much.
whatever,
Here's Tupac.
and he's in ballerina school, whatever, and that's your argument.
that's not even the art. I'm showing you that what he produced was not good. It destroyed the community till today. It's not good. You don't want to
maybe
call
you
yourself
didn't read it because
detrimental
you're going by a mainstream.
You don't know. I'm going
opinion.
by what he produced. You don't want to call yourself detrimental words. You want to call yourself stuff that uplifts you, respectable.
It's a household word.
It dehumanizes a person. It dehumanizes them.
Exactly. It dehumanizes them, man. So
yeah, you're promoting that.
You got to remember that, Scribe, man. It's getting late. If you want to stay on and argue with Mr. X, fine.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I gotta get up early, man. I appreciate you coming on, though.
We're gonna go on tomorrow night, MD.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Okay, because I have tomorrow night off. So
all right.
Well, we should talk about Tupac tomorrow.
Nah,
no,
man.
we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. We should shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's stupid, man. It's like you're messing it up.
It's your kryptonite. We gotta get it out of you.
Not
kryptonite to intelligence.
Exactly. It's not. Yeah, you gotta come on, man. You gotta you gotta
stop
each other knowledge, you know. But we'll talk tomorrow night, man, or tonight.
All right.
All right.